It is 9:30 on a Thursday night, and you're tuned in to Rip Radio Network, which can mean one and only thing. Tez got the good bell tonight.
The good bell.
I got it when we
Service.
got here. I moved it. No, the
other bell's still
the
on.
less than excellent bell
Less than excellent.
was
The LE.
there. And I said, no. Only the best bell for Tez.
The SC over here, Supreme Excellence.
Supreme excellence.
LE, less than
I don't like
excellent.
that. It's a little too.
Oh, whoa, that gets
Sounds a little too much.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Star Wars has taught us an important lesson, which is no matter how many times you fix society, it wants to cascade back into fascism.
It's easy.
So you have to always be on your guard.
Yeah, fascism, people
It's
find
easy.
it's easy for people to get behind.
Yeah. So you have to
Demagoguery
always
and
be
whatnot.
ready to go find Obi-Wan in the desert.
Wait 1 second, though. Yo. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Chip. And that's Tez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you, Tez?
I'm Ted. You just
Yeah,
told
right,
me.
okay.
Missed that whole thing.
We are not doing a good job.
Yeah.
The reason we're not doing a good job is because we have a guest
Yes.
Hey.
tonight. Jamie Tucker Davis.
Yes.
Welcome.
Got to
I'm
say all
Jamie.
three names.
Yes.
So
Gotta
get
say all
back.
three
It's
names.
JTD, though. We learned we can say JTD. That's shorthand. You
Jamie
wanna go a
Tucker
little
Davis.
faster.
But I'm going to say that, and I'll go to JTD after I get through.
Hop
this.
slam.
Ooh, hop slam, yeah.
So she's here to tell us about a lot of things.
Yes.
Because you do a lot of things.
Multi-talented, faceted,
Multi-everything.
whatever they call it.
Yeah. We do
Busy.
nothing
I have
well.
a platform. I think that's what
Ooh,
they
I
there
think
you
that's
go.
it,
Yeah.
right?
We
You're
thought, I thought this was one.
Nobody listens to this show. All right, so we're going to talk about the hearings, of course. We've got
Yes.
big stuff with the hearings. There was all kinds of crazy stuff this week.
Yeah.
I mean,
my
I
old
wrote it all
Bombard
down.
went up and he said some words. I said.
Your cousin Pasquale.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him. We've got big things in DC sports, especially a little Everton in the house.
Oh, yes.
He's coaching in Columbus tonight, I think. Or maybe last night it was. I guess the game was. It's tonight, yeah. Mr. Rooney
Yes. Oh, yeah, that is
has
true. And
returned to Washington.
also, I'm surprised that you're even here because the Men in Blazers did a big.
They did.
Everton.
I couldn't attend.
Yeah,
I
know.
was committed.
Committed to your own. No, I was gonna say, I was like, that would be crazy. If
No,
you
I'm
went to
taping
that.
it.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. And then also too, Everton will be sorry again. On Saturday. I didn't mean to. Yeah.
Go enjoy yourself. I am going to go watch former Everton great Wayne Rooney coach the black and red on the 23rd against Montreal, where we
Yes.
will undoubtedly get clobbered.
That's okay.
Because we're bad. But that's okay, because we got Rooney now. It'll all be fine. His last team got relegated, so that's good. From the second tier.
And that can't happen here.
That can't happen.
So we're in luck.
Good, we already did that segment. We can skip it later.
All right.
All right, we're going to talk to our guest about all of the great stuff that she does, and maybe hopefully score some shirts.
Definitely.
She's going to talk me through doing it on the interwebs.
Okay.
I hear it's a series of tubes.
No.
Yeah.
Carries the information. We have a test talk
It's clicking by.
about Royal Farms.
It's clicking by for anybody else. Yes.
Royal Farms tonight. Is that
Royal
what we're
Farms.
gonna do?
I'll try to. We'll do Royal Farms and try to put in the Uber files as well.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, eventually.
And then we'll have news.
News.
Yeah.
Lots of news.
We'll
We're
have
a news. We're a news outlet.
But no rundown. Uh-oh.
Just like
Brad,
breaking
just like that, there's breaking news already.
There's breaking news.
That's a record. I don't know if we'll ever beat that.
All right, hold on. Let me guess. Something bad about the Orioles, something bad about Michigan. Or
No.
even
So
worse?
it's bad, but not the bad you think. So you probably already know. A lot of people probably know the former wife of the former president, Donald Trump, Ivana, passed away today at the age
she
of.
knew too much.
Yes, she knew too much.
Obviously.
Yes, so she passed away at 73. She is the mother of these three lovely kids, Ivanka, Eric, and Don Jr. So, yes. Actually, of all the women that Donald married, she's the one I really like because she's very charismatic.
Yeah.
So
and doesn't like him.
Yeah, doesn't like him. Yes. So
Isn't Marla dead too?
No,
Didn't
Marla's
she
still
die?
alive. No, there's Marla's still okay.
I was wishful
Should be
thinking.
Yeah.
fine.
What did she
They're
die?
killing people.
They don't know yet.
They said it was a heart attack.
Yeah. So
Oh, look at you. Yeah. Don't
Air
throw
quotes.
that out there
Air
already.
quotes on the heart
Yeah,
attack.
right. For anybody who's not watching
a lot of
this.
politicalness.
Wink,
Yeah,
wink.
you
They're
threw-
tongue of the frog scary.
Okay, okay, all right. Back to the.
That's your guy.
No, because me and Chloe were at home and
They
we were
were all on
No,
the
we were watching the hearing and they played that
And they
one
started
clip of
playing the
him,
clip.
and I just fell to the floor and started laughing when he got. I don't
We
even
know
know what he
it's gonna
said.
play in the
I don't
break.
even know what he said,
No,
but he was just
I
screaming.
know what you heard.
I
You
did.
heard something about eating,
Oh my
which
God.
is what we're going to play in the
I'll
break.
eat Mitch McConnell.
There's a lot of stories.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah. I knew right away when I saw them play the clip, I was like, oh, Jesus.
I fell off my couch and started laughing. Just I don't even remember what he said because he was just screaming something at the screen.
I've ruined Alex Jones for you for forever.
You have, because I shouldn't laugh at that. That's not funny.
It's
That wasn't-
very dangerous.
It's not funny.
But it is funny. It's funny dangerous.
Oh.
That's all right. He owes all those families billions of dollars.
Yes, there you go.
Okay. You got a word? Now that we've totally ruined the show? I've got a word now.
Yes, I have a word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if this works.
Oh, hopefully.
Sit back, grab some.
Digestives.
It's chicken time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Ripped Radio Network.
Sweeps.
Welcome back to Chip Chat here on Rip Radio Network. I am your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's poppin', yeah?
All right, and hanging out with us tonight, the multi-talented, multifaceted, platinum platformed. Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Get a bell for that one.
Jamie Tucker Davis, JTD. Got to say the whole thing. Okay, so now we've come to the part of the show where we're calling the coup sideshow. Yeah. We've been covering the coup.
I'm surprised this one wasn't called Graham Cracker.
Oh, you should read ahead.
I did.
Or you did read ahead. The first segment of Coup Sideshow is called Graham.
Yeah.
The second segment is called Cracker because it's about Steve Bannon. Okay, self-explanatory. The important thing about Graham is we are talking about our favorite South Carolinian, Lindsey. Nominally a senator.
Mine is Tim Scott.
Oh, it's Tim Scott. That's right.
Gotta stay with the team.
I don't know if he does. Oh, that was rough.
I'll just throw it.
Remember they wanted to hang Mike Pence. I'm just.
You wanted to be vice president.
Just remind cousin Timmy. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Lindsey got a letter in the mail.
He did.
Certified mail, I think. Unlike Dan Snyder, Lindsey Graham doesn't have a yacht to hide on to avoid subpoenas. So,
but I wonder if you can hop on Joe Manchin's little boat.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not ocean going. Just can't get out of the territorial waters. They go find him. Remember, Bannon got caught by this postal inspectors in the Long Island Sound on a boat.
That is true. He did.
They flew in with helicopters in their little shorts, and they, slid down and like, ha-ha, gotcha.
Like with that movie, The
Trump pardoned him. That's exactly what they did. Perfect Storm with postal inspectors. George Clooney was like, oh no, the wave. Oh no, it's just the post office.
Stamps cost too much.
Yeah, right. I'm going to deliver these letters by hand. So anyway, Lindsey got a letter, and it says, you got to come talk to Fannie Willis in Fulton County, Georgia, which is Atlanta.
Yeah.
Now, Lindsey knows why he has to go to Atlanta. It's because
he made a call.
He made a phone call. Yeah. Actually, he went there, but then he made several phone calls and was like, you could just toss some of the votes. And they're like, Lindsey, these aren't your ladybugs. We can't just toss them. And so he now has to go talk. So he tried to fight it in court, right? So DA Willis also went to court, and she said, no, Judge, here's the phone call he made. We want to talk to him about it. And the judge was like, oh, yeah. Judge declared him, quote, a necessary witness to the investigation. It's another step in the long legal process of getting Graham down from Washington to testify. I thought it was funny because I'm reading this. This is from an Atlanta news station that they talk about Washington as being up. Because most of the time we hear about it. We're here.
Yeah.
We talk about bring somebody down to Washington. Yeah. And now here they're in Atlanta and they're talking about we're going to bring them down from Washington to Atlanta. Which is funny. But also, that's
what they tried to do to Lincoln.
Yeah, they did try to. Yeah, they got him as far as, 7th and R Street or whatever it is over there. It's a waffle shop right there. It's pretty good. You should go. You got a bar in the basement.
Which waffle shop is
right across from the theater.
Oh, there is a waffle. You know what? You are right about that, yes.
Yeah, for a long time, it was the only place in D.C. that still had prices in double digits. You could get, an egg, 55 cents.
Really?
Yeah. It was great. And I used to work right there and, get lunch. It was, $4.75 with lunch.
Yeah.
Sorry for derailing this.
Pretty good. Anyway, in the order, Fulton County Superior Judge Robert McBurney, great name.
That's a judge.
Yeah, oh yeah. Said the court finds that Lindsey Graham is a necessary and material witness in the special grand jury's investigation to potential crimes interfering with Georgia's 2020 election. It also the new order requires him to come testify in August. Think about places you don't want to be in August. Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even want to be in D.C. in August. That's why everybody leaves town in August.
This is true.
It's too fucking hot.
And also, too, as a senator, in August, you should be, on your recess.
Yes.
Going back to your home state, raising money. Because, that's what they do. They get...
he's got a seersucker suit. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of crackers. So, a federal judge on Monday refused to delay Steve Bannon's trial, which is slated for next week, I think on the 18th, after he said, look, I've been pardoned, and also, okay, fine, I'll go talk to the committee. I'm not claiming executive privilege anymore. The case is moot. No contempt. The judge, who was appointed by Trump.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was interesting. Yeah.
He said, I see no reason for extending this case any longer. He went on to say, while I'm certainly cognizant of Mr. Bannon's concerns regarding publicity, in my view, the correct mechanism at this time for addressing that concern is through the jury selection process. And he said that he found it unlikely that the court would not be able to find unbiased jurors. Bannon's argument is, hey, the thing that we tried to do where I directed people to kill everybody
was on TV
was in D.C.
Yeah,
I'm never going to get a fair trial there. It's like, hey, buddy, trials happen in the place you did the crime in. That's kind of the deal. Right?
Look, okay.
You think all those people in Jim Crow, Mississippi got a fair trial? Listen, I'd change the venue. There's not a chance I can get a fair trial here in Whitesburg.
And also, just with
Whitesburg.
With the jury selection process, he's talking like he's going to be tried by 12 black people.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
That doesn't happen.
Nope.
It's not
we know from experience that the jury selection process is decidedly racist. So he has an opportunity. However, if they're picking white folks from this area, I mean,
but see, you gotta
unless they can get across the bridge and get Youngkin's buddies.
No,
but we can't cross the bridge to do a jury in D.C. I would volunteer for that jury. I'd lie, be like, yeah, I support the police.
I forgot the process that the lawyers are allowed to do with jury selection. Where
they call it voir dire.
That is it. That is exactly
it. Which is an incredibly weird name.
Yeah, because
you've been waiting to say that word.
No, I just know that word.
That is because some of the law stuff ends up
too
being
many hop slams. I'm never going to get it right.
I know. Right? I was like,
but this is one of these Latin words.
French.
Oh, that's
French,
right.
Because it's a weird.
Yeah, because it's spelled wrong.
It's spelled wrong.
Figured it out. That's right.
And I read a book.
He's Italian, so he knows.
No, I read a book on this about the Constitution earlier, a couple weeks ago.
Fucking nerd.
But you have a process where you're able to kind of just say, hey, you know what? I don't know. I don't really feel like something about you.
So they get three that they can just remove for no reason.
No reason at all.
There was that case in Mississippi where weirdly this court before Coney Barrett got there, decided that their quote-unquote system where they were supposedly non-racially biased jury selection where they would throw people out for any other reason was very obviously racist. And I think Kavanaugh even wrote the opinion on this. He got this one right, which is shocking. But I guess, growing up in D.C., he met a few black folks in his life. So he was like, oh, maybe, not totally fair. But
he loves basketball.
He does. Georgetown basketball in particular.
Yeah, so,
It's another thing Jesus Christ. Yeah. You and Beer Can Brett are buddies.
No, look. Don't go outside my house. Stay outside of
He had a choice to eat at Morton's, unlike many people in many states.
Yeah.
Tough road to hoe.
Yeah, I mean,
speaking of hoes, Brett Kavanaugh. No, I'm kidding.
Woo! No, I mean, Bannon also too. Didn't Trump send a letter?
So Trump theoretically sent this letter, which had very many words, so it was definitely dictated.
Yeah.
Not written.
As we know how this works out.
And had 3 or 4 complete sentences. So I think that Dan the Twitter man was involved, but it basically said, "I'm releasing you from executive privilege," and the judge was like. You didn't have executive privilege. You didn't work at the White House at the time. This is bullshit. There's no legal thing here. You guys are walking into court with these set of things that you're presenting as legal documents that are written on toilet paper. This is not legal when those sovereign citizen idiots walk in and they're like, look, the laws of this court don't apply to me because I, was born under this sign in the sky. And the judge is like, get out of here.
They're not Native American.
You know what it reminds me of? When Dale Gribble in King of the Hill decided that he couldn't be tried in a court because it had a fringed flag, which was the fringe of the naval courts, and therefore he couldn't be convicted twice in a naval court due to double jeopardy or whatever. Garbage argument he made, and the judge locked him up. That's what we're talking about here, except that these guys were nominally in charge of the country.
I also don't think, I think for Steve Bannon, I wonder if he's going to...
it's a grift.
It is a grift, but I wonder if he's going to... he's almost going to play defense to the actual truth. Because what he's going to do going there, he's going to go in there.
So that's what he wants to do.
Exactly.
That's what he said. I'll go and talk to the committee, but I want to talk to him live and uninterrupted.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely not. And
they pick who's going to be on TV, okay?
Right? And they edit this carefully.
They know who's going to be on TV.
But even if he does agree to go in and therefore get out from under the contempt thing, there's no way Liz from Wyoming is going to let him pull his bullshit.
No,
she'll cut his mic or toss him out or contempt him again. It's like there's no deal here, Stevie. And he might have to wear only one shirt, which is tough for him.
That's true.
It's this weird thing where he layers button-down shirts.
He's a weird individual. His background is just
video games.
Yeah, it's a really weird.
And the Chinese.
Yeah, he's also he comes from a blue Democratic family. I heard.
Yeah,
it's a weird guy.
When he's Bannon, he's Irish.
I don't know. Power, man.
I don't know. You're the fashion icon here. What do you think about layering button-down shirts on top of each other?
Hell no in the summer.
Ever?
Not in the summer.
But he does it all the time. It's part of his uniform. And I'm not talking about a flannel on top of a white button-down.
Yeah,
it's like 2 pattern button-down shirts on top of each other with the collars both visible.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It doesn't look like he has many shirts either.
He looks like he's always sweaty.
Yeah.
Even in December.
He's hot.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, for many reasons. But
yeah. Cirrhosis. All right.
Oh, come on.
We're heading that way. It's fine.
Oh, come on.
All right, and finally in this segment, which is the coup adjacent, sideshow, this one is called Super Crackers.
It's like Dragon Ball Z.
Yes. Now, remember when we were talking about how many of these Republican House members do we think are going to ask for pardons? And we knew there were 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Our list is very, very good. We were really right on.
It's a good list.
But there's a few we didn't know about.
Yeah.
There was a meeting of Republican congressmen in the White House on 21st December where they planned on how they were going to pressure/threaten Mike Pence into doing something that was patently unconstitutional and illegal. And so the question is, who was in this meeting? And there were some obvious answers, but there are some less obvious ones. So here we have the list of these Congress people who definitely needed a pardon, and 0 of them got it, by the way. I want to point that out. Trump didn't pardon any of them. They're still going to bat for him too, by the way. Which I don't know why they're going to do that, but that's
weird. Soon in orange suits.
Ain't no loyalty. There's no honor amongst thieves. All right. This one was a bit of a surprise. Brian Babin of Texas. I mean, it's not a surprise, a Republican from Texas. I just don't know who he is, so I don't care. Next.
I was going to say, come on.
Andy Biggs. Now, we had him on our list of Arizona.
Arizona. You know.
Right. So he was mad that he didn't get to change the rules in his own state. And so now he's like, I'm going to murder Mike Pence.
Wasn't it the first state that got called when everything went to
that was
to
what Fox News called it.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's it. Biden wins. And then the J6 committee had the political editor from Fox News in their very first hearing. And they're like, tell us about how you called this. And he's like, let me tell you. He was so proud. He had all of his facts and figures. Yeah, we were the first to get it. Our models were so good. He was proud of himself.
Really proud. Yeah, he's a
TV
man right there. That's a TV man.
All right, Matt Gaetz. Now, we know why Matt Gaetz was in this meeting on the 21st of December. Because he was promised it was going to be on the 17th of December. That's funny. Also awful.
It is awful.
Very funny.
It is very awful, and we're just going to keep moving on.
Louis Gohmert, also of Texas. Now, I am surprised.
Great picture if you are watching us.
Yes. Now, Louis Gohmert famously wanted to know if the Forest Service could do something about the moon causing global warming, which is an actual question he asked in a hearing. Yeah, I know.
Gravitational pull of
That's true. That's exactly right.
Moon on the trees.
And he asked the Forest Service director about that.
What would Smokey the Bear do about that?
Isn't
that who runs the Forest?
Yes, that's right. There's a bear. This is confirmed by 2/3 of the Senate.
Confirmed by 2/3? Oh,
he's the first brown bear ever confirmed to the cabinet.
Not the first brown bear.
No, they had a polar bear before.
You know, those are going extinct.
Right.
What do they call it? Replacement theory.
That's right. That's it.
Black bears about to take over this shit.
Tonight on Tucker Carlson, the polar bears are going extinct, and it's because of those black and brown bears.
That sounds like
factual stuff.
The real life. That sounds a lot like real life.
100% that bubbles up from this show on to Fox News. That happens a lot. We throw out random ideas, and there it goes. That's the sound it makes, too, when it goes up the Murdoch chain.
Through the various tubes.
That's right, yes. All right, so Louis Gohmert's on this list. Now, I'm surprised that Louis made it to the meeting because, he can't tell his ass from a hole in the ground.
Even look at what he's doing right now.
Somebody carried him. He was probably, you know what? That's why Babin was there, was to bring Gohmert.
All right.
Yeah. Paul Gosar was there, of course. Yes, noted white supremacist and dentist, for whatever reason, whose mother ran campaign ads against him. Andy Harris. Ooh. Our favorite mayor of D.C., Andy Harris, the lone Republican from the great state of Maryland, represents the Eastern Shore and is the one who, for any time the D.C. government passes a law doing anything to do with marijuana, decides he needs to get involved and put a hold on that.
Yeah.
So, fix some potholes, Andy. Jody Heiss of Georgia. We did not have him on the list, but we knew that was a likely guess. Yeah. Right? And then Jim Jordan, of course, former wrestling coach at, we have to say, do we have to say the now? Because they trademarked it, right? The worst place on the planet. And who facilitated all the rape of all the children while he was there as an assistant coach.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yes. Representative Scott Perry of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, who was the one who put Jeffrey Clark on the list to the oil spill guy to be the Attorney General. And our favorite, another 3 initial name with a T in the middle, MTG.
Not even sworn in yet at that point.
That's true.
Yeah, not even sworn in.
She was contesting the election that brought her to Congress as fraudulent.
Wow.
These people are insane. Again, you haven't even been sworn in, and you're at this meeting. I don't know.
Well, she is also a CrossFit entrepreneur, so she knows about cults.
CrossFit entrepreneur?
She owns several CrossFit gyms with her husband, who is a convicted money launderer.
I don't know. Look, I'm all for the people in the CrossFit. They seem like they're getting a hell of a workout, but I'm kind of with you. It seems like a cult. It seems like
it is a cult, and they're getting what looks like a good workout. However, I went on a hike once with a bunch of all of these CrossFit people.
Don't tell me they couldn't make it up.
Did they
the hill.
convert
Not,
you?
They were dying
They couldn't
going
make it
up
up
the
the hill.
mountain. They looked great doing it, but they were in no shape at all. They could not get up the mountain. They were
Did they try to convert
struggling.
you?
Huh?
Did they try to convert you?
Oh, yeah, they tried.
Yeah.
But I'm Jewish. I get that all the time. People are always trying to convert me. Like, listen, it's been a few thousand years. We're good. Call me when you got a bush on fire. What's really
that
funny?
was a few presidents ago.
That's true. Both times. This is kind of interesting because this is also the meeting that Mark Meadows dialed into. One of the meetings that Mark Meadows dialed into that we learned about.
Was it the Willard?
No, that's the War Room.
The War Room one.
This is a different meeting that Meadows was involved in, and we know about that because Hutch told us about that.
Yes, okay.
And so this is yet further corroboration of Hutch's testimony that the Republicans called fraudulent. It's a good deal, isn't it?
You know these low-level staffers, they don't know.
Low-level staffers. They hardly know what's going on. And somehow our buddy, the Double D, Rich Donahue, makes an appearance in this story, which, just more importantly, to say that Jeffrey Clark's an idiot.
He does not like Jeffrey.
No.
He's...
Can we get that pay-per-view?
Oh.
Yeah.
That should go like after. What are those?
Celebrity Deathmatch.
What are those? Well, not, well, they don't do that now. Now it's,
Undercard,
it's
whatever.
those Logan, the Paul brothers.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
do
yeah.
that. We
Those
need one of those
YouTube guys.
Those YouTube guys.
Let's get
He
them
sounds
to
so
fight.
old. Those YouTube guys.
I hear on the internet.
I hear on the internet.
They've got the YouTubes.
You know, they're not even fighters anymore.
They're just YouTubes
It's
guys.
YouTuber guys.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Back
that's
in
the
my
undercard.
day.
Back, yeah.
Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I'm not that old.
Fighting Joe Morrissey. It's down in Richmond. All right. You want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to play Tez's favorite song.
Yes.
Featuring his favorite member of the J6 testimony this week. It's going to be great. You're listening to Chip Chat on Ripped Radio Network.
Sweeps.
To eat my neighbors. You think I like size it up, gonna haul him up that chain, chop his ass up, size it up, gonna haul him up that chain, chop, 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 chop. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass. Flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, "Oh, I killed a cow out back, baby." You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them, and skin them, and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. To know, I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna get my hands around your throat.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Riff Radio Network. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez. and that was Tez's favorite song.
It's my favorite song.
So,
so I quit music because I could never make
you could never make an album that
make
good.
anything else after that. After I heard that, I haven't quit music.
You imagine? Sorry, Drew Dave.
I know, right? He's probably looking like, what the hell?
And Jamie Tucker Davis is with us. So we want to talk to her about like important stuff. But before we do, we just want so that you can catch up to what kind of crazy shit is going on in front of you.
Okay.
A little bit, right? Yeah. You're like, oh my God,
that song is crazy.
A little bit.
Also, many moons ago, we had a former state senator from West Virginia, Richard Ojeda, on the show, in which he volunteered that he would eat Mitch McConnell.
I'll eat Mitch McConnell.
That's him. And so
his anger is palpable from that. Like you can.
There's a video clip.
Mitch McConnell.
There's a video clip. But also importantly, our intrepid producer Brian was able to smash together that quote from Ojeda and Tez's favorite song into what might be one of the greatest sound buttons of all time.
I'll eat Mitch McConnell.
Like corn on the cob.
And I mean, it's the summer, it's barbecue time, you know.
It's
like,
great.
there it is.
Like corn on the cob.
Take you out back.
Right
Shrimp on the bobby.
Yes, right. Ross, she's trying too, eh?
Look here, oh God, you guys go back and forth.
Foster's.
Australia for beer.
Right.
I love that.
Right, Jamie Tucker Davis is one of those people who's always hustling, creating, creativity just pours out of it, right? With hands in pots of broadcasting, apparel, and a whole host of other media and creative projects. Now she's come on our silly show to do silly things. Jamie Tucker Davis, welcome to
Thank
Chip
you.
Chat.
I
There
love
you
a
go.
bell. Thank you for having
I love
me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's your favorite part of the show.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have many props, but you know.
I got one over here.
Don't hit that bell.
It's not as good.
Oh, you know what? Hit it,
You
hit
can
it.
try it.
Oh.
Say, she's better at it than you are.
Oh,
She
yeah,
can
that
make
is
sound.
it. Yeah, I don't touch that bell right.
No, you're just not good at it.
Nah.
It's a little nub
You don't
that's a little
touch it
hard.
right.
She's better at the little nub. That's it. Look, it's not a gender thing. All right, so we do fake radio, obviously.
Yeah,
You're here. But you do like real broadcasting things. So tell us about the ubroadcast platform or whatever. It's too much to explain.
Yeah,
you explain it.
ubroadcast
It's ubroadcast.
Media.
You explain
the
it.
letter U,
Yes.
ubroadcast media. It is a boutique studio where people can like customize what they want to do. So podcasts like yourselves come in.
We're live. Thank you.
We
Don't do
are
that.
live,
Exactly.
but actually 7 out of my shows are live.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Only one of ours is. So we
Well,
have
only one chip chat a week,
I
but
know.
there's like 30. How many shows do we have now, Brian? A bunch. We have a lot of shows.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm not in charge of that. Go on.
The cool thing about our studio is most of our shows have a closer, which is a live performance.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we have a news set or broadcast set, and then we also have a full sound stage. So we like to think of ourselves as a Motown for the DMV or a BET that doesn't move away.
It doesn't get sold to Viacom.
Yeah, exactly.
I drive by that now.
I mean,
It
it's a
just
little
looks
bit
so
like
sad.
PFW studio where they've got the studio studios, and then they've got that performance space there where they do the 5 o'clock jazz shows.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
That's
Shameless plug, I am looking for interns, so please
Yo.
call me.
Hey, look.
You can
Give out
find
the
us-
numbers to tell everybody.
Yeah, find us on Facebook, ubroadcast media. Find us on YouTube, ubroadcast media. We are basically trying to tell African American stories, Black people's stories, Black people's media.
I don't know if you know this. So this is mostly white station. So
That's okay. That's okay. I don't.
It's
I feel
not.
that-
He's
It
the
is
only white
not.
person here.
This is yeah.
He's the only one here.
Brian is the white guy on the network.
I feel very
We've been
comfortable
very
being
clear
black
about that.
here.
Yes. No,
it's a very black space.
Fair.
Yes. But we welcome young entrepreneurs. We just encourage like this move. There's a movement.
There is.
There is a movement. A Black Wall Street, bringing up Black businesses. We like to think that we build them brick by brick, and we just happen to have a Black brick soundstage.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you know it's
That's a metaphor.
it's definitely a vibe. It's a I can't stress enough that it's a movement.
So how can we get on the network? That's what I mean, that's the obvious question. Right? This is all we ever want to know is how can we get more famous?
Right.
I'm one of those people who just do not fake at all. I came to ubroadcast media in March, and I've brought on 3 shows, and they're my friends. Right, I brought my friends who have something going on.
We
to the show.
accidentally created a number of shows too.
Yeah.
We're very sorry.
If you
Don't
guys
watch or listen to No Cut Cards on Plugged In Radio on Wednesday nights.
no cut cards, that's my boy.
Who?
On
Steve?
Oh no,
Or
no,
Tony?
no. I know a different Mr. No Cut Cards.
no.
Yeah,
This
Shaka
is-
Berry.
This is a different.
Okay.
This one has a K. It's no cut with a K.
Different
2
guy.
T's.
Different guy. But no,
Twice is good.
we welcome podcasts. They're trying to elevate themselves. Really, we do. So you guys just need to come and see us, and it can be a television broadcast opposed to
we
a
do radio because we have the faces for it. That's why we do.
You don't think you have the faces for TV?
Little Chip.
Jesus, maybe you. I don't know.
Yeah, I just threw you under the bus.
I know what it's like looking like this. I grew up looking like this. It's rough. And like when my kids were born, they're like, "Oh, they look like your wife." I was like, "I know, thank God." Why do you think I'm funny?
I'm gonna dress you. I'm gonna dress you in divisions wear.
Don't knock the shirt. This is a shout out to a good friend of the show, right? This is Salty's DC, Damien. Made this shirt. This is the second iteration of it. He made a 3D version, so it's cooler. I wore all these shirts whenever I go travel, like far and abroad. I always wear shirts that my friends make, so that I can come up with a reason to explain that.
That's perfect.
So it's a good shirt. I like it. It conveys a message I support.
That's what you're supposed to do.
To weekend responsibly.
You're supposed to wear your
that cup
friend's
is
shirts.
empty.
Yeah,
and I get it.
No. You don't know that.
Could be half full.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Be an optimist.
Yeah.
But I'm all for that. You're supposed to wear your friend's shirts.
Yes.
Every day.
That's
Bracelets
what I, as a individually, that's what I stand for.
Well, you make amazing shirts.
Sure, I was going to say.
I want to talk about the shirts.
Okay.
But before we do, let's keep talking about the broadcast stuff because so we need more listeners, right?
Okay.
And Tez cares about like saving ice or something like that.
Climate change, global warming.
It's important to him to reach as many ears as possible. So, what tips would you give us to make our show, let's say, listenable?
Okay, so before meeting you, like I didn't know you existed.
That's true.
Okay, I couldn't find your Instagram. Why
Seems
don't
unlikely.
I know?
We have lots of followers.
Yeah, but so to me, I think it's about your presence, right? Do you have a social media manager?
We have, it's this app called Buffer.
You need a person.
It's pretty effective.
Hey, interns, before you go over to Jamie, someone stop here. You could just make one stop here first, do a little work, and then we'll figure out who's good. And then we'll say, we'll be like, this person, okay.
We had a digital media meatball.
Yes, Key Wayne.
Key Wayne, Baltimore, but he got busy with, he's famous now, so he doesn't need us. Yeah. But that happens. No, we can track our downloads.
I wish
lots of people listen to
I wish I could, though.
All over the world,
weirdly. I wish I could just, not do my multiple jobs. And if I could give a solid, if I could give a solid, I don't know,
hour to the show.
24.
24.
You need 24, 3 days of 1 day
I
a
put
week.
in about 12 a week.
Yeah, 3 hours. You need 3 days to full on coming up with sound. I wish I could do that.
Yeah,
so we have a producer.
Yeah, and your producer's name is?
It's Brian.
It's Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Brian is not just our producer, though.
He produces much less popular shows.
Oh, God.
Much less popular?
Yeah, like
even though we're talking about how we ain't got nobody, but
much less popular shows that air on Mondays, which is the worst day. Nobody likes anybody on Mondays, and especially not Monday mornings.
I think that show is smart on Monday.
It's a very funny show.
Great
What's
show.
the name of the show?
We're not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about that.
That's
Brian produces it.
It's real talk.
It's real talk. It's a good show.
Tone and Kiki, they're
great
lovely,
people.
wonderful people, and we love them dearly.
Yes.
But they beat us in this game so we're very mad about that.
That's okay. Thursday is a great day.
It is the best
Friday
day.
Eve.
Yeah.
That's right. It's must-see radio.
Must-see radio.
That's how radio works. Okay.
No, I just gotta make a few. I gotta figure out a few sales calls first, and then I can figure out that timing.
Brian makes us videos. I post all the things. I write captions.
Yes.
I generate attention. I get in fights with congressmen on Twitter.
He does do.
I am doing a lot of activity.
I need to do more.
On Twitter, our shows get hundreds of views.
Yeah.
So they're doing something.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
And I recognize
There's
that.
dozens of us.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we need interns, right?
Yeah.
So we could do a little less of that. But, I mean, I think...
Unpaid labor doesn't work out in this country, though. We had a war about that.
We could get some funded programs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll buy you beer. How about that? Just be 21.
Hold on, friends. I want.
No, be 21.
We're limiting the pool at that point.
No.
Okay. This is why we ain't got no views.
We'll take a 22-year-old intern that we can pay in beer.
Listen, it might be a 45-year-old intern
that we can pay
That's
here.
right.
That's
you
fine.
can definitely pay.
That's
for.
right.
We don't have currency. We don't get paid for this show. We're out of peppercorns.
I'm still waiting for my
Yeah,
check.
we ain't got no.
But don't you want to get paid for this show?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
But it depends by who.
Well, I mean, I think that's a
We're
process.
not selling out the Fox?
You know what I mean?
No.
Okay.
We have a hard stop at ABC.
I think
It's
though,
like as far as
look here,
up the corporate juggernaut,
but we could get a lot of hate listen at Fox if we did the same show at Fox.
You got really excited about hate listen.
Because those people would be so upset.
Remember when they used to have Crossfire and they had Hannity on CNN?
Yeah.
And the whole bit was like that they just bashed the Jewish kid on that show? Like,
Hey,
that was it,
well,
right?
Well, we'll have to avoid that. Well,
let's
there's no
not
way
do
to
that.
avoid He's like, hold on, I'm the one going to take the
We had a war about that, too.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's transition.
Okay.
Aside from being a broadcast genius, you also have an apparel line.
Yeah, so I would not say I am a fashion designer. I'm really a graphic designer who likes
Puts them on shirts.
who puts them on shirts.
Which is how I found you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Brian's got it in the clips here, but I saw, that's it. I saw this shirt.
Oh, the 290. Yeah,
It's the DC flag with the $295, $395, $495, and I said I need that shirt.
That was my
And
second one to
every
the
time
Barry one.
try to
I like
buy
the
it,
Barry one is the top one
It's
for me.
sold
but
out.
It's sold out.
Yeah, it's
That's a good shirt.
popular.
I can't get this
It's a good.
shirt.
That's a great design.
It's
Thank
a
you.
brilliant design.
brilliant
So how
design.
did you come up with this design? And how did nobody else think this up? Because it's staring at us right in the... As soon as you see it, you can't unsee it, right?
I'm born and raised in D.C.
Good.
But I
Us
have
too.
lived everywhere except for Virginia. Sorry, Virginia. I've never lived there. But I do recognize that they are part of the DMV.
Yeah.
And,
we were part of D.C.
Yeah.
Arlington was part of D.C. They gave it back.
They gave it back. Yeah.
You know,
And they named it after Robert E. Lee's house.
Well, they
So,
wanted
you know,
to have. They wanted to have
way to
different
go,
rules.
Virginia.
You know.
That came later.
And,
They didn't give it back till like the 1920s or something.
yeah. And I also, I came up in D.C. when it was not gentrified.
Right.
So
it was friendly and
a lot
nice.
of my designs are reminiscent of just being an 80s baby. Back when DC was very chocolate. And I wanted to bring those things to life. And they were more than just something I would put on my wall. I would wear them. You know what I mean?
You're wearing one now, aren't you?
Exactly. This is
Yes.
planted.
Got a wrap, right?
This is planted. So this is less DC than some of my other shirts. But
It gets the idea.
yeah, I came up with this design because I have a lot of vegan friends.
Sure.
And I
Shout out to vegans, making more
Vegans.
bacon available for the rest of us.
I wish I could commit to being a vegan.
What?
I
way.
really do. I
Listen,
want
I
to.
can't.
No,
No,
I do. I really do. I want to do it.
No,
I do.
that's fine. You go ahead and do that. I'll eat your steak.
Um,
Gotcha.
I left the house. I
I'm
was
an
eating.
environmentalist. I'm helping.
You are.
I really do.
What sound does a piggy make? Sizzle, sizzle. Ask my kids.
I learned today on Instagram that you should boil bacon and not
You
fry
can.
it.
No, there's variety. It's interesting that you mentioned that. I watched an Epicurious video today about the 30 different kinds of bacon. And some of them require boiling because of the way they're cured.
Yeah.
And some of them are boiled because they're from England and they don't know what flavor is.
Yeah, I love. There's.
Speaking of which,
Well, from England, that's fine. But I love
it's
this.
about to get you for Italy's government falling apart too. So we're going to have that
But
conversation.
no, I love. There's a follow on Twitter who's a political cartoonist, Gathering, and Patrick Gathering. He always calls it a flavor-starved nation.
Yes.
I love it because it is that.
It is
but
that.
all the flavor that comes. But again,
Hence all the colonialism.
they've
We
imported.
have no flavor.
Yeah.
We need to go get spices. Let's
sugar.
go conquer India
Yeah.
and then not use any of the spices.
Yeah.
Way to go, Britain.
They're weird. Look, no, England.
Nah,
That's in blame the English.
we can't tell the difference. All y'all British look alike to us.
Look here,
That's what I'm saying. Up the colonies.
bloody
All right.
Americans.
So anyway, back to the shirts.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the shirts are cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So you make all these designs yourself.
I am the graphic designer.
And do you draw them? Or are you doing it on the
draw
computer?
them. I use a computer. I sketch. Shout out to my parents who bought me the coolest graphic designer tablet.
Do you need like some real high-powered computer to like layer all this
I use a
stuff up
Mac.
and everything? Of
I use a Mac.
Come on, of course.
Right. So it's okay, exactly.
Sitting over here with my Android and my Dell.
Yeah,
You know, getting
but
whooped.
you know that works for your life.
It does work for
I
my
use
okay.
a Mac and an XP Artist Pro 12 to draw.
See,
where
he's a tech genius. So he understands those words.
Heart on my sleeve, soul on my shirt. Where did that come from?
Oh yeah, I like that.
Because that was I saw it. I was like, that's good. It's a good shirt.
Thank you. So I'm a Pisces, and
See?
Are you one as well?
Yes, there we go. There
Shout
we
out to
go.
Pisces.
I don't know what sign I am.
What?
I don't care about that.
What's your birthday?
December 4th.
I think you're a Sagittarius.
I think so.
You're
Sounds right.
definitely a Sagittarius. My sister is a Sagittarius.
I don't think that the things in space affect us.
How?
Like
When you
that.
come, how is that?
I mean, I know they affect like gravity and things.
But where do you think we come from?
Stardust.
Oh no, I forgot.
Stardust?
I forgot.
Yeah.
Stardust.
Yeah.
Okay.
There would be no elements above hydrogen if it weren't for stars fusing atoms.
And where
together.
where do they hang out?
They're out in the. I understand that,
In
but like we
space.
just got an image from 13.8
But I'm
billion
just saying,
years
but-
ago.
But I'm just
Nothing
saying.
from there will ever get to us because it is so far away.
But I'm just saying, we're products of space, aren't we?
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so how could-
so it's all matter?
That's what I'm saying. There you go. It's like the one thing that could be believable.
All right, well, you
I'm
show-
playing devil's advocate on this. Here.
When you show me how spooky action somehow works across like matter fields and all this other kind, tell you what, go over to CERN, figure out what the other 96% of the matter is, and then explain to me how that's related
All right.
to some fucking meteors. I don't care. Go on, figure the rest of it out. Yes, it makes good shirts.
There you go.
Yeah. Well,
And Pisces are generally creative.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're
That's the
generally
fish one,
creative.
right?
Yes. Two
Yeah.
fishes.
Two
Two
fishes.
fish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Delicious.
Yeah.
We're chameleons.
Like fish.
We're chameleons.
What kind of fish? Does it matter what kind
It
of fishes
doesn't
they
matter
are?
what kind of fish there are.
Can I pick?
If you want to be a
Because
Pisces,
I can't find bluefish anywhere in the markets. And I remember eating bluefish as a kid. It's not available anymore. I think it has too much mercury.
I've never shopped for a bluefish.
Yeah.
Bluefish delicious.
Maybe it does have too much
Are you
mercury.
from? You're from Washington?
Yeah.
Well,
We used to
some
get it at
all
Giant.
about blue crabs. I don't know about.
Oh, no, we
bluefish.
eat crabs and all.
Yeah.
Well, not this year. It's too expensive. But
Yeah. Let him.
I'm doing my part not eating.
Don't. I
them
was gonna say, let him chill for a year.
That's what you get for 4 years of fucking Trump administration not doing any EPA stuff. But all right. Anyway, go ahead. Eastern Shore, Maryland,
the EPA lawyer was trying to take over the
government.
DOJ.
Y'all on the Eastern Shore that ain't got no jobs right now because the crab picking operations are shut down, voted for that motherfucker over and over again. That's your problem. Anyway.
It's all right.
So I don't get to choose which fishes.
Well, no, I don't believe so.
Okay.
No.
But they make good shirts. So go on.
Well, we're creators. Pisces
Yeah,
are creators.
yes.
But the heart on my sleeve, soul on my shirt. I mean, I'm definitely the type of person that people would say wears her heart on her sleeve.
You're on this show.
Yeah, I have no qualms about being a very sensitive person. I am that.
Me
and,
either.
And so what?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what?
Crying's good.
I've been crying on this show since we started.
You're
I've been exactly. Oh, don't do that.
But I am a very
That's a
Dry
white
soulful
erase
person.
board over there.
That's a white baby.
That was a white baby.
Is-
That's why
see?
dry erase board did it.
That's a white baby.
Tony Kiki, you can use that dry erase board.
That's wow.
yeah.
I caught that.
I
late.
beat
What you
him.
say? Oh wow.
Go ahead. That's an inside radio joke. Go.
It's okay.
The shirts.
The
Back
shirts.
to the shirts.
The shirts, not the white baby cry.
No. For the record, my white babies don't cry like that.
So
They shout.
You're waiting because they got a little soul in
So
them.
I
They yell.
They-
They grew up watching a lot of sports.
Oh.
You know, break his leg. No, that's her mother. All right, go on.
So there's a lot of soul in me. I come from a very dynamic family. I have great roots. And so I wanted to embed the soul of my family, the soul of the city into my designs. And there's nothing better than putting them on shirts. So I started out as somebody who would, sketch out things and do invitations or even funeral programs.
Sure,
really.
why not?
Yeah.
We all need design.
all
People
of that
sleep on design.
needs design.
Yeah, design is such a huge
Shout
part
out
of
to Dan
everything.
Formosa.
Yeah.
Taught us all how important design is.
Yeah. And about 2018, I started to figure out that this was a thing, So I slowly started doing it on the side. And then the pandemic hit. And
people needed shirts more than ever.
Man, the pandemic hit, and I think I just realized I never want to work for anybody else. It took me a long time to get there.
Millions of other people.
Yeah.
Which, could you hurry up and get back in the workforce? Because it's killing like inflation.
Was the whole resignation thing.
The great resignation.
I totally get it.
It's a real thing.
Life felt very short. And you started to think about what you wanted to do with the time you had left, because you thought you might not have a lot of time left. And I thought, I need generational wealth. I have children. I have 4 beautiful kids. I need to make sure I develop something to leave behind. I believe in myself, what I can bring to the table. Why am I wasting my time working for someone else, mad all the time and stressed? Like, I'm going to gamble on me. So,
can we work for you?
Sure.
Because we don't have any marketable skills or anything. We just talk into these
Speak for yourself.
Well, okay, Tez has marketable skills.
As long as I can train you,
I'm
you can work.
basically useless. I will wear the shirts in public. How about that?
That's wonderful.
I'm great at that.
That's wonderful. I appreciate even being on your show. So,
we're very, very honored
we need to appreciate you having you here. You're giving us the bump.
So where did the flag idea thing come from, though?
So I'm used to seeing the DC flag everywhere. Right. And it just occurred to me that there were 3 stars.
And there's 3 interstates.
The 3 interstates that we always ride on.
Right.
I also am one of those people that never really cared for if you're not from DC vibe. Like, you know, like I said, I was born and raised in DC, and then I eventually moved to Montgomery County.
Sure.
And, you know, there's this...
Moko's in the show later, by the way.
I feel very strongly that even people from the city have very significant experiences outside of the city.
Of course.
So I wanted something that incorporated the DMV.
It's
Some
one of those
people
things
don't
where,
like that term,
DMV.
I
don't like DMV. I like DC area. But
I don't because
we never had DMV. We had DC area like my whole life, and all of a sudden people started talking about it's the
and
DMV.
here's why I don't.
Like, you mean where you get your license?
Here's why, I want to go deeper into that point you just made there. But the reason I don't like the name so much is because of the exclusion of Baltimore a lot of the times, and the exclusion of Richmond. Because people like to say, how are you going to use Maryland? And I get why people say, they're like, well, the Metro doesn't touch it. And I'm like, they don't usually say like that. They're like, no, the Metro don't even go there.
But that's what they mean.
They mean that too.
They mean it. I'm like, well, then at a point, I used to thought it was called the DC Metro area. But if you're going to use DMV, if you're going to use Maryland's name and Virginia's name, I don't think you can exclude Baltimore, which I think is the largest county.
It's called the BW Parkway.
Wait, I think Baltimore's the largest county in Maryland. I don't think you can exclude the capital of Virginia.
Baltimore is not part of the DMV, and neither is Richmond.
But then why? But
I
why?
get what you're saying. If you're going to
call
use,
it the DC area,
exactly.
Like,
You're
just
right.
get rid of this DMV nonsense.
You're right.
Brian's got thoughts.
That's what
he's
it technically
Baltimore.
is.
Lady first.
Are
Go
you
ahead.
Baltimore?
I support Baltimore.
Okay.
I feel
I do not support Baltimore. It's
You
just
know,
not
wearing
part
an
of the
Orioles
DMV.
hat.
Yeah. So
I have relatives
Which
in
was our
Baltimore.
local
It's just
team
not a part of the
before
DMV.
the Expos moved
Baltimore,
here.
Right. If
Baltimore.
you're going to use those
Yeah.
letters, then technically it should.
Because as a person from DC, right, and I
But
went
not
to
Hagerstown.
Oh, don't you see? You're doing it too.
See?
But like, right, I've never. I don't. Like, I was born in England, but I've always like.
That's rough.
It's fine, but the only place I ever slept was in DC. Like my house is in DC. I grew up uptown, but I graduated out of MCPS, and like back to this is my issue with this because. The same issue I had with the folks in DC, they was like, "Oh, we hate these people out in Maryland." And it's, but then it's like almost it's like, all right, well, the folks in DC dislike the people who are in Montgomery County or Prince George's or in Alexandria. But then when you get to the people in Alexandria and Montgomery County, they hate the people who's in Richmond and who's in Baltimore.
Stupid,
and I'm like, this is insane.
All right, so
because we have an identity crisis here. I think that's what I
say you're in an airport, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was born in the district and I grew up in Arlington, and I'm in an airport bar, right? And there's some random person from like New York picking a fight with somebody from, I don't know, Silver Spring.
Yeah.
I'm joining that. Yo, don't worry, Silver Spring. We're together here. We're all part. I mean, it's all a part of how far you zoom out. So when I'm in
what if they're from Drew Hill?
Huh?
What if they're from Drew Hill? In Baltimore.
I'm still taking up for him.
I would hope so.
I'm wearing the hat.
Okay, I would hope so. Just checking.
No, I'm still
wearing
taking
the
up for him.
hat. Yeah.
Like, if I'm far afield, I tell people I'm from Washington, right? Because they're not going to understand the intricacies of the difference. And if I'm home, then I tell people, okay, I grew up in Arlington. Like, but we live in this region that has borders that almost don't exist. We cross them so often, we don't even think about them. You don't really even understand that Southern Avenue is like a border. It's not a border. I mean, it is a border technically, but not in practice. You just drive across it. Who cares?
To the 9th district. It is, right? Doesn't they say on the other side of Southern Avenue pieces?
But I think
the
what
liquor
it
stores are
is
open
just
on the other
like
side. That's right.
being black. It's a culture.
Yes.
Right? I can't date anybody that doesn't know sugary Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? It's a culture.
Yeah,
so I don't care where
sweet.
you're from.
It's not about the
if
culture.
you're black, you know about it, or at least that's my definition. That's one of the definitions of growing up black. So growing up in the DMV, whether you have lived in Baltimore sometimes, visited Richmond sometimes, if you have come up in the area, it's very distinctive, and you're going to cross those highways. So that's why I came up with Beltway.
I mean, obviously we see those numbers and we feel the affinity immediately.
Yeah, I was going to guess right. Immediately, yeah.
We all cross these. We're on these roads all the time. They represent traffic. And
traffic.
Yeah, traffic.
Folks in Taos are like, where's 695?
Yeah, well, but now we got a 695.
I get those messages.
I can only imagine.
Hate messages. I get hate messages.
Oh, Lord.
That's the fake
Where's
beltway.
695?
I can see
hate.
That's the fake beltway.
That's the fake beltway.
That's why we have the battle of the beltways, right?
Look,
we have a beltway, they have a fake beltway. But now we have a 695.
Yeah.
It connects 395 to 295. The brilliance of the interstate highway system as conceived is that the numbers tell you what connects to what.
Oh, I thought the brilliance was they run it through black people's homes.
So the 95, but the 95 tells you that is interstate 95, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's a 2 or a 3, it's a spur. A 2 is a spur that connects on either end. So 295 breaks off of 95 and connects on the other end. A 3 or a 1 connects on one end. So like 195 takes you to BWI. 395 breaks off, but it dead ends. And things that are even numbers that are 2 or that are not 2, so 4, 6, and 8, connect on both ends to the original. They're loops. So 895, which takes you around to the tunnel, that is a loop. It connects on 95 on both ends. 495, 695, they connect on either end. So because when they built that extra piece to connect 395 to 295 across the bridge, when they did all that construction for like a decade, it carries the designation 695 because it connects on either end. So we now have a 695. So you could include it maybe as a footnote to make those Towson kids feel good.
No. Let them be angry.
I think the 270s, which I totally feel like as a creator, I have to come up with something really dope for a 270.
Clopper Road Gang is upset over up there.
Yeah.
124, shout out to 124, 108.
The Quince Orchard folks out there.
Shout out to Sherwood.
No, we got
to get an ICC
Road, Sandy
Got
Spring,
to get
Good
108
Hope.
on there.
Gotta get 108. I graduated from
Old
Sherwood.
Annapolis Road. It's not regular Annapolis
You said
Road.
you went to MCPS.
Yeah, I graduated at Blair.
Blair, okay,
Yes,
okay.
What are we going to do about 26 and 140, though? You got to give the Frederick
What's
kids.
26 and 140?
26 is Liberty Road, and 140 is what 70 replaced.
So
whoa.
Brian hates the Frednecks.
So heart on my sleeve, soul on my shirt also is that it has a connector with me. I don't actually have a soulful connection to Frederick.
So then you can't make none of
and I don't have one to Baltimore.
So you
You
can't
have
make
a
none.
bunch of
But when I do, I will.
That makes sense.
Okay.
When I do, I will.
We'll take the show on the road, go to
But
Frederick.
270's definitely coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it going to have an ICC that connects
I
it
think
to the
it
other
should have
shirt?
something funny with the ICC.
Okay,
like
here's an
2
idea.
minutes. Is it worth 2 minutes?
Yeah. This is a ridiculous idea, but suppose you sold it as a set, that you had a 270 shirt and the Beltway shirt, or the original one, and then like a necklace that connected the two, and it was like the ICC.
Maybe a hat
Or a scarf or something.
Yeah.
You know? It'd have to be some
accessory.
kind of connector.
Easy pass.
Yeah, but you have to pay every time you put it on.
That sounds like that's what she said.
Oh, whoa. That could be, yeah. I didn't say it. She did.
She's on the show.
Right, exactly. Look.
All right. So, do you have any more of your genius
if,
questions?
Yeah. If you could be a physical design tool for a day, brush, canvas, etc., what would you be and why?
Good question.
Ooh, I'd be a brush because the transfer goes both ways. You know, you go into the paint as the brush,
right?
And you also go on the canvas.
Didn't even think about
and
that.
You get to mix paints together.
Sometimes you get dunked
you
in
get
the water.
to change colors.
Get
that would be
rinsed.
more like my personality. Yeah.
Okay.
You get rinsed. Yeah, I definitely would be a brush.
You
You
rinse it
get
out,
a shower.
Yeah.
It's like the real life.
That's a stupid question. Brush is the obvious
We had a
answer at
soaking
this point.
pod for the brushes. You know, at the end of the day, you
yeah,
put them back
sit
in
them
the
in there.
soaking
They sit
pod.
there.
Yeah.
And then, what's been the most difficult part of your journey in design?
In design, it's been what I want to do versus what I think people want to see.
Oh, cool.
That's a tough balance. We don't
do this
have
on
that
this show.
problem.
We DJ to ourselves on this show
Yeah.
all
That's
the time.
We don't
That's-
care about our listeners at all.
Yeah. A year ago, I decided that it's not about what I think people want to see. If nobody likes my shit, that's okay.
Has sales increased since you started doing that?
Yes.
See?
But that's like that old, and I hate to quote Henry Ford, but like that's that whole Henry Ford thing. Is that
Occasionally gets one right.
But like the consumers don't really know, like they don't really know what they want. You almost have to bring it to them.
gotta
If
show
you
it to
ask them if they wanted a car, they're like, we don't want a car, we want a faster horse.
Right.
Right? That's what we want.
Well, in the Simpsons episode where Danny DeVito let Homer design a car, and it was this absolute disaster of a vehicle. Yeah. And then, that's it, right? People don't know what they want.
They don't know what they
Smart designers know what people need.
You see, you look and you say, all right. Just like no one knew they wanted like the $295 to $3. Like you see
The second I saw that shirt, I knew I've always needed that
but
shirt.
you never knew you needed it. Though.
I didn't even
you
know
didn't
it was
know
a thing
until you saw it. So
now I need it, and I can't get it.
And the
And
people
you're
who
sitting
saw
right here
that
on our
design,
show.
the people who saw that design at first were like, "What is it?" Like,
How did they not see that?
that's crazy. When people say that, when folks tell those
Literally,
stories,
the
people
second I saw that, I couldn't stop seeing it, and I started
I
like.
think it's fear. I think it's fear in people. Like when I showed it to
that's fair.
people, I think
$3.95
they looked
traffic
at
is
it
very
not so
scary.
much like you looked at it. Like, okay, she's already a business, and I like
This
it.
is obvious.
But friends and some family may look at it as like, oh, that's what you want to do, though.
yes.
So if from that point of view, maybe it's not so great. Like, oh, that's
Are
what
they
we're
not
doing.
from here though? Because
No,
maybe that's a
everyone
thing.
is. And entrepreneurship is scary for people.
Yeah.
Like you tell people, I'm going to quit my job and I'm just going to do this thing. And, you got to understand where people come from. And that's another thing is between design and what people think. Sometimes what people think is care. It really comes from a place of concern.
Sure.
But they're used to, jobs that come with benefits and security.
They have like a script that they want to
That's a
follow.
script, and that's what they're used to. So everything that I've been doing lately is like this crazy branch out on just being different and taking a different road. And it wasn't always met with, you know what, go for it. That's great. Just do it. It's going to be wonderful.
I think future generations, though, are less bound by that script. They're used to this idea that you have to carry multiple things, but that you can succeed at your passion.
Yeah.
And I think that people like you who are doing it are setting that example so that more people will follow their passions and do more of this stuff, which, as we've talked about on this show over and over, is a thing that we desperatly need.
Yeah, we do.
It's more.
That's a more vibrant economy.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
mean, divisions where, does double what it does this year, that's 2 more jobs for me. And shout out to my family because they've been extremely supportive of what I'm doing. But everybody doesn't have that.
You're a job creator.
I'm a job
I hear
creator.
Republicans love that, but not your kind of job creator.
That's what they used to run on.
That's
They don't
the
run on that
job
anymore.
creators.
They don't run on that
That
anymore.
Fleece Fest guy.
Yeah, but I mean, and I, for people who are thinking about starting a business and they're unsure or they're afraid that somebody won't like what they're doing, I encourage you to go out and do it. If not only, having an LLC or some business. I mean, can we get into tax write-offs?
Yeah, well, you can,
look.
but not now. We have an LLC because we want to drive in the HOV, which is actually a thing we're going to talk about tonight.
But no, that's a great point.
I mean, there is all of this.
Yes.
So I think that maybe the answer is that people who are interested in doing this should come and intern with you for a little while.
Please come intern with me.
Because then they can learn some of that stuff and also get an opportunity to try out some of their creativity.
And if you don't make it there, we'll probably be able to take you.
Yeah. And you can see what it's like working for somebody who's following their passion and making a difference.
Yeah, definitely.
See? We're connecting. You're going to stick around with us for the rest of the show?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, of course. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the hearings, Cousin Pasquale, Liz
Cool.
from Wyoming, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then we've got all kinds. This is going to be Brian?
We're going to finish at 11, Brian.
Yeah, it's going to.
I swear tonight we're going to finish at 11.
Okay.
I'm ringing the bell on it.
Not going to happen.
Yo, double bells.
That's it. We'll do our best.
We got double bells.
Triple bells.
We got bells everywhere. Bells, come on, give us a sponsorship. We keep putting this shit out.
They keep trying. They did retweet us a bunch of times on the Hop Slam.
That was for them.
Yeah.
I guess for
it
us.
Got us a lot of views.
It did give us a lot of views. Actually,
thousands of views.
Thousands of views, actually.
Hop Slam. Every time we say it, we get like a nickel.
Hot Slam.
Hop Slam. Hop Slam.
Hop Slam.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we as Pisces, we would like the Two-Hearted Ale has a fish on it.
As fish. And the Lighthearted also has the fish on it.
It has a fish on
Yeah,
it. My boy put me onto these, and I said, man, why you always like that damn fish beer?
It's
and then I got on, and I was like,
Two-Hearted's good solid stuff.
Oh, this is 10%?
Careful with that. Watch it with the Hop Slam. Yeah, give her the Hop Slam.
Yeah, share. Give me that.
There you go.
Be careful with the Hop Slam.
Speaking of shilling people's, my friend's stuff.
Yeah,
the
sure.
River is Wild right here. Never last. River is Wild was popping.
There you go.
There you go in the bag.
That's shiny. I don't know about that eagle.
Get out of here. Oh, God.
It's a little iffy. It's not a good American eagle.
Oh, Lord. Well, no.
No.
He's Nigerian, so it's Super Eagles.
Oh, well, that's a different kind of eagle.
Yes, exactly.
That's fine. I got no problem with those kinds of eagles. Those fascist ones as well. Well, close. It's like the two-headed one's even worse. Okay.
Break time.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Chip Chat on Rip Radio Network.
Chips.
Chat here on Rip Radio Network. I'm your host, Chip. Laughing over here in the corner is Tez. She let me keep the menorah out.
Okay.
You know,
oh, wow.
Yeah, that's right.
You could be yourself.
I can with that part.
All right, that's fine.
Not the other. And joining us is JTD herself, Jamie Tucker Davis. We just learned about all of the great stuff. Well, just some of the great stuff.
I was going to say.
She does. I'm sure she does even more great stuff. You'll come back and tell us about all that other stuff.
She's spending the next 45 minutes 15 minutes with us.
That's right. All right, so now we want to talk about the hearings, which we had broke up into two pieces, but I think we're probably going to try to run fast.
Yeah.
We'll never be able to keep up with this. All right. I made this into bullet points because it was so many things. It was so many things. I couldn't even keep track of it.
All right. I'll hit you with the bullet point, and then we'll start from there.
Let's go with that.
First bullet point. Liz ain't playing with the witness tampering.
No, she is not. So for the second hearing in a row, she has ended the hearing by saying somebody is tampering with the witnesses because they keep calling them and we keep finding out about it.
Is that illegal?
It is very illegal. The first time she was kind of cryptic about it, and she was like, somebody called, and she read them quotes. Yep. Okay, but then this time she was explicit that the orange man himself called one of the witnesses who we have not heard from yet in the public testimony, but that the committee has heard from, and told that witness directly to keep their mouth shut, essentially. And she said, we want to remind everybody again, which means Merrick Garland, that is illegal and should be prosecuted. And here's the thing, what we keep saying, nothing they're saying doesn't have receipts. Everything they're saying is just closing loops. They already have the evidence. It's all corroborated. They probably have a recording of this phone call. I bet it's Trump doing is John Barron. Remember when he used to call the reporters and be like, this is John Barron. Let me tell you about this great stuff about Donald Trump.
You might as well say John Doe.
Well, no, but it was always John Barron.
Yeah.
And it was him. I mean, there's all these tapes of him calling People magazine, and it's very clearly him. That's why he named his kid Barron.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow.
All right, next one. Trump was planning the attack in advance and purposely kept the rest of the government in the dark.
So, cousin Jamie, not you, other Jamie
The other one.
from Maryland.
Yep.
He had a really great test. I mean, obviously, but
the guy is great at everything.
I was watching, I was like, that's when you know the Constitution, when you know it well. When you know it really well.
So he was a constitutional lawyer and professor for a long time. When he was serving on the Moco Council,
really good, like a great teacher. He's
and he looks like a professor.
He does.
And so, cousin Jamie was delivering his whole bit about the hearing. Well, he ran the hearing.
Yeah, he ran the
But
hearing.
he's got the notes that Trump and his buddies, including the Pillow Man, were discussing how to march to the Capitol, how to turn people loose on the Capitol, and these idiots wrote in these memos, don't tell the Park Service or I'll get in trouble. Don't tell the Secret Service or I'll get in trouble. Don't tell the Capitol Police or we'll get in trouble. Don't tell them. If one part of the government is plotting an operation and specifically keeping other parts of the government in the dark about it, that is a coup.
Yeah.
That is treason.
Our government is not working.
That is an attempted overthrow. That is a shadow government.
Yeah.
We are not to have people doing things separate from the regular order. And this was very, very evidently clear. And we've got reams of these emails. These guys were in direct communication with each other all the time, plotting this, including we've got to figure out how to get Trump to the Capitol. We've got to figure out how to kill Mike Pence. We've got to figure out how to get weapons into the Capitol. They've got all of it. And they wrote it all down, these fucking morons. That's a quote, Rex Tillerson. Fucking moron. Former Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson.
All right, cousin Pasquale.
Yeah, that's your buddy.
Yeah, that's my buddy there. He officiated a fight between Hirschman and Flynn.
That's true. So, cousin Hirschman. I mean, come on.
Hirschman.
Well, his name's Hirschman.
Yeah.
Okay. and he's a lawyer. He doesn't get to use the space laser. So he sits in his deposition with a bat that says justice behind him.
Love it.
Which I don't think he usually meant for justice. But he was one of Trump's lawyers.
He meant it for justice.
Yeah, well, this time. But he was Trump's impeachment lawyer, and he's one of Trump's White House lawyers. He's in this room with the Overstock guy and cousin Pasquale and a bunch of other people. And eventually Flynn is yelling about, of all things, Nest thermostats.
Sometimes
and the Venezuelans and the Italians somehow who can't hold their... See, remember...
Well, yeah, I was going to say, some stuff has happened, yeah.
Pause. Remember when we made fun of Israel for being less functional in government than the Italians? Italy heard about that, and they're like, nope, we're going to try to do that. So they tried to dissolve parliament today, but the president was like, no, I'm not accepting your resignation. Get back in there and go to work. So, way to go, Italy.
Europe is in for...
Send pasta. Okay, so... Basically, Flynn was going on about some insane shit, and Hirschman was like, do you have the evidence? And Flynn was like, no.
It's not about that.
It's not about that. We're trying to overthrow the government here. And Hirschman was like, either come up with some evidence or shut the fuck up. And Flynn was like, are you telling me to shut up? And he was like, yes. And he said, do you want to fight? And he said, come over here or sit your ass down. I think actually the quote was, or sit your fucking ass down, which is what he said to the committee, which we all saw live on television,
right?
On regular TV.
Yeah. NPR has hit the...
NPR was like,
hey, you are hearing
this is
explicit
live,
language.
These are quotes. We can't edit this. We're sorry.
Like, stop telling me this.
We know.
All right?
We're in.
It's a damn coup. It's an overthrowing of the government.
It's just not time for the FCC to get involved
Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Unless they are going to somehow save the government. Okay. I want to see that fight. I wanted to see geriatric General Flynn fight. I think it's Matt Hirschman, right? Does that sound right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. He's pretty. He looks like he's pretty solid.
But Flynn ain't Flynn a
former general?
General. Well, he's a disgrace.
Fired general.
All of these guys
convicted federal criminal.
Yeah.
Pardoned,
yep.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you get too much Facebook in your life.
That's right.
Moving on. Who the fuck is the Overstock guy?
Okay, so your cousin Pasquale walks into this room. So we talked about how this meeting, they were running all over the White House. The crazies had gotten into the White House. That's Rudy. and Sidney Powell and Flynn, and they were literally chasing Trump around the White House trying to talk to him before the real lawyers got there. And every time they talk to him, they get about 10 minutes and then the real lawyers would show up. Sidney Powell's direct quote was, I think Pat Cipollone set a land speed record from the cabinet room to the Oval Office.
Because you know why?
Because he kept having to run after these fucking lunatics to be like, yo, what you're doing is illegal and you're going to get us all in trouble.
He seems like a person who doesn't want to go to federal prison.
He seems like it.
He just anything I...
And his name is Pasquale Cipollone.
Yeah.
So he's definitely on the hook for a bunch of other stuff that he didn't even do.
He's gotten a lot of other folks out of prison.
Right. Various Gambinos or whatever. I don't know. More of your cousins, I guess.
Me and Mike Tirico.
Yeah. So... They're literally chasing him around, and every time the real lawyers show up, they squash this stuff, and they go, stop. So one of these points, they come running into the office, and the former founder of Overstock.com is sitting in there. And we actually knew that this took place from one of the books, one of the tell-all books, that Cipollone walks in, and he goes, who the fuck is this guy? And he goes, I'm so-and-so. Who are you? And he goes, I bet you don't know who I am. And he goes, yeah, I do. You're Rich Donahue. And he goes, wrong, idiot. I'm Pat Cipollone. I'm the White House fucking counsel. Shut up. Get out of here.
Get out of here, first of all.
So that's who the fuck is the Overstock guy. Okay.
All right. And we're going to close out this way. Rudy likes getting stuck in a cabinet.
That's true. So at one point during this insane 6 hour running around the White House, which is not that big a building.
It's not that big.
6 hours of running around.
Smaller mansions in Washington.
Yeah. It's not like O Street. So
I can find bigger houses in
that place
Calorama.
is confusing.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well, Barry O lives in one of them.
Yeah, probably. Yes.
So anyway, Rudy got left behind. They all went up to some other room, to the yellow oval, or the yellow room, I think they call it. I don't know what Rudy called it, the upper oval. And the questioners were like, "You mean the yellow oval?" And he goes, "I call it the upper. They left me alone in the cabinet room. It was cool. Room. I really like being in there by myself." That was what he said. So you're telling me that, like,
Mayor of America, friends,
if we got Rudy a fancy enough chair and some cigars or something, we could have like penned him up in some fancy ass room and avoided all of this. Go ahead, Rudy. You make as many phone calls with these phones that aren't connected to anything. He belongs
in one of these guys' friggin' cigar rooms on the wall, like a fucking deer or a fucking bear or something.
He looks like
that.
A taxidermy already.
It does.
The stuff dripping out of him.
Lies, deceit.
No, I think it was hair dye. All right, go on.
That's what it was.
It's dripping down your sides.
That was it.
No, go to the next segment.
Oh, the next segment. Oh, hearing stuff part. Hearing stuff part 2. All right, so meeting. Oh, do you want to go straight into taste talks, or we're going into the hearing stuff part 2?
Let's finish the hearing stuff.
All right. Well, the meeting went on for hours. It rolled over the building, and Meadows walked Rudy out from making it worse.
At one point, to get things to settle down, Mark Meadows literally walked Rudy off the grounds, and Hutch took a picture of it. And that got introduced as evidence. Here you see Mark Meadows, who was sort of like supposedly one of the neutrals in this, right? That we know that there's like crazy, anti, and neutral. Yeah. He's supposedly neutral.
He's trying to like corral all of this stuff.
He was like, "Yo, Rudy, you gotta get out of here." Because every time they turned their back on Rudy, he would show up and, "Hey, boss, I got some more crazy shit I thought of." Like, no, stop. Go away. Go send him home. So Meadows sent him home.
I mean, but I guess even with Meadows trying to like tamp stuff down, I'm wondering about that in general. Just like, is that is he really trying to tamp stuff down, or is he like, you know what, this plan is like botched and you're just drunk off of Trader Joe's wine? Obviously, no, he probably drinks better wine than that. But again,
he wouldn't know.
He wouldn't know. But like, yo, Rudy, you're a drunk fool. You really aren't the one who should be kind of dictating how we should take over the election process here.
The real question here, obviously, if Meadows was tamping things down by walking Rudy off, what was he also doing running communications with neighbor Ginny? And there's something going on there that I don't think we've got to yet, but I think the deal is that there is the coup to keep the idiots occupied.
Right.
This is this stuff that they're going to let Powell and Flynn and Rudy just go on with, so that they think that they're involved and don't scuttle the deal. And then there's the real coup, which is Bannon, Carrick, and Meadows planning and plotting through Stone with the actual Proud Boys. I think you put
McCarthy in there too.
And McCarthy probably.
Yeah.
Plotting with the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, the actual violence, organizing and then quarterbacking it from the White House on the day of. So they've got this distraction going on with Rudy and Powell that has got Cousin Pasquale chasing them while the actual violent plot is being run out of the Willard through Meadows and to the Proud Boys.
And maybe that explains why Meadows seems to be so... I think Meadows almost seems similar to Trump when he won the election. It's like, oh, wow, this is actually starting to happen.
He didn't mean it.
I didn't really mean, like...
The dog that caught the car.
There you go. Because I mean,
like the road decision.
Because what's your job as the chief of staff of the White House? Like, I mean, if you're the chief of staff...
You're basically the president.
Yeah. Like...
yeah. Didn't mean to do that.
Didn't mean that. But, you know, we're here now. And again, I guess with the hearings, just to wrap this up, right? They have a limited amount of time. Because
we got another one coming next week.
Because at the end of the day, in Washington, which is a lot different than D.C., right?
There's the district, and then there's Washington,
right? In Washington,
different places.
This thing's going to close up in 2 weeks,
yeah,
and everybody's going to get ready for campaigning. But
we have to nail them to the wall, you know. And Benny's going to finish it. I mean,
I'm interested to see how this ends.
It's going to end with a direct voicemail of Trump telling somebody, kill Mike
But then
Pence.
when does Merrick Garland start bringing charges? You can't
immediately after.
Immediately?
Yeah.
Immediately after?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, in election season, I feel like that's risky.
I don't know. But I guarantee you they've got a smoking gun.
If you don't do it before, if you get into October, October, then it's looking like you're playing around with.
If they've got tape of Trump ordering somebody to kill Pence, which I think they do,
I don't believe.
I think they got something close.
Close, maybe.
I think they've got tape of him saying, "I need you to find 11,780 votes."
That's enough for me.
I mean, it seems enough. Like it. Well, it's enough for Fannie Willis.
I was gonna say that's enough for conspiracy against the United States, right there.
Okay, the other thing we learned is that these rioters were really some fucking idiots and easily fooled sheep.
I feel bad for them, and I don't know why I have those guys.
Maybe you.
The buffoonery of this is very reminiscent of Watergate.
It is, but see, Watergate, there weren't cell phones and texts, and those guys knew when they got beat, they took their L.
These guys don't take the.
They don't take the L.
They just keep lying.
Yeah. They double down. Nixon was like, all right, you got me. I'll leave. Put G. Gordon Liddy in prison and give him a radio show. It'll be fine.
This guy ran through
Liddy did have a whole acting career after everything.
Yeah, and a radio show for 30 years, and now he's mercifully dead. But one of the things that you should remember from Watergate is who was one of the committee staff on Watergate was Zoe Lofgren, who is now a congresswoman who is on this committee.
Wow.
So there's no joke about this. Wow. These people know what they're doing. They've got the evidence, and they're not playing around with it. Liz Cheney's political career is ending.
It's over with.
In front of us.
It's done.
Because she cares about this.
I never thought I would say.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have done it if she didn't have the evidence. If this was all on a guess or conjecture, there's no chance she would have lost her entire family legacy over this orange fucknut.
Right.
But because she's got the receipts, because she's got the evidence, she's willing to do it because she cares about this country. She cares about it probably for the wrong reasons.
She does, yes.
But she still wants the rules that we agreed on to exist.
Yeah.
Like I said, again, the problem with the whole Trump administration was rules that white people agreed on, white people started breaking.
Yes.
And everyone's like, what the hell is going on out here?
What do you mean the white people don't want to follow the elections?
What?
They made them. Shouldn't they just...
What?
I don't know. Every other time white people have lost an election that they didn't mean to call, they waited it out and had another election later. That's pretty much how it went, right?
Yeah.
Except for that one time in the 1860s. But, even that got settled with a deal.
Yeah, it was a deal.
The end of Reconstruction got settled with a deal.
It was like, no one denied that. They were like, hey.
We are basically going to change the results of this election as long as you take the federal troops out. That was the deal.
It was the deal. These folks don't believe in the rules.
There is one final very serious question, which is that this insane madcap caper of 6 hours of Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, General Flynn being threatened by Hirschman and Cipollone ends at midnight. And at 1:42 a.m., Trump tweets out, come to the Capitol on January 6th. It's going to be wild. What happened in that hour and a half? Who did he talk to? Who gave him this idea? Where did he come up with this? What plans did he make? There's this radio silence here. But the problem about Trump is there's never silence. He's always on the phone. He's always calling somebody, and there's somebody on the other line, somebody on the other end of that call, and eventually somebody's going to talk. And I think the reason that we got into this story about this crazy 6-hour running around the White House meeting is because they know, Benny and the Jets know. It's Congressman Benny Thompson of Mississippi. But
I was going to say, right?
Benny and the Jets. That's what I'm calling the J6.
It's a good name.
Yeah. Benny and the Jets knows what transpired in that hour and a half. And they've got the other end of those conversations. And that's what we're waiting for. That's the bomb that's going to drop. That's the smoking gun. They're going to have those recordings on the other end. It's going to say, Trump saying, what if we just get the crowd to try to kill Mike Pence?
I'm just waiting to see if it's going to be real justice.
Well,
yeah. I don't think
that's what it boils down to.
I don't think the justice part.
Let's not get too excited on this side of the show. I mean, we all understand where we think this might go. But there's a chance that we get something.
Time is of the essence.
Well,
they need to move fast. But also, too, who knows what happens in these midterm elections? I don't
Heart
know.
on my sleeve, soul on my shirt. Really,
Right.
just wants to settle for more than just we're gonna get something. You know, like
No, you're absolutely right. We need
Tired
to
of
nail
that.
these guys to the wall. But the problem is,
Yeah, and not even like jail. You need to put the former president in jail.
Yes.
It's that simple. And I know we don't do that as a country, and that's crazy. But I think that's gonna set that. I think that sets off everything.
well, that's it, right? That's what we keep talking about.
Yeah.
is that
or
there is-
sentence him and let somebody pardon him like they did Nixon.
well, they didn't
Biden-
ever
Biden-
really
you know what?
sentence Nixon.
But at least
right,
do it.
Right.
And you know what? Biden is primed to do that.
at least
Yes.
do it.
Biden is primed
Yes,
to do
he's,
that.
Yes,
he's
he
ready
is.
to do the
His
fourth
old
thing
ass is
and do
primed
it.
to
And
do
like, look, we're gonna do.
Sleepy.
But the thing is that if he gets the impeachment, or if they get the thing post facto, they can stop him from running again. But all of this is predicated on the idea that the results somehow resonate with the public. And what we have talked about on this show endlessly, and we'll probably never stop talking about
Yeah.
is that there is a good chunk of this country, millions of people, who are so far down this rabbit hole that they cannot come back up.
No, I think they can come back up, and they're gonna go ahead and jump in Camp DeSantis. It's easy.
But they can't really come back up from, like, they don't like him. They think he's up to, they are so far gone. We can't reintegrate these people into society. We
They think
don't know what
DeSantis is up to
yes,
something?
Yeah, they think
That's
they
very
think it's part
bad
of the
for
deep
the-
state and all this.
DeSantis?
Yes. Yeah, they're all sure of this stuff. If it's not Trump, this is the cult of personality. It's all him.
Fair.
Okay, and even then, they don't trust. Like you're watching this stuff come apart at the seams. These people are gone. They're not on our planet. We cannot reintegrate them into society. They are moving
I don't
amongst
believe
us
that. I don't believe
as
you
if
can't.
they are regular
I don't
people.
believe you can't integrate them in society.
I've yet to see anybody suggest a plan that makes any damn sense. And part of it is going to be if the QAnons come to you and say, look, we got this wrong. We are sorry. We want to come back. What penance will you accept before you will take them back into society and trust them with anything? Anything. A stop sign, for God's sakes.
They'll say it's a hexagon.
Right. I mean, it's like there's no way. And it's not only that. The institution is broken. No election that goes the way they don't want it to go, or even elections that go the way they do want it to go. Shit, MTG won her seat and she thinks it's a fraudulent election.
And we have our Supreme Court case.
They're
that'll come
never
up, that'll
going
come
to
up next year.
Right.
That's gonna.
North Carolina is going to wreck voting for everybody. There is no way to convince this subset of Americans that representative democracy is a viable option.
I think they're a small subset of Americans.
There are
still.
at least 30 to 40
At
million
least
people.
yeah, right.
And that is a lot of
That's
people.
a decent amount of
And
folks.
they have all the guns.
They don't have all the guns.
They have a lot of the
a
guns.
lot of guns.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
Well, we have a new Supreme Court ruling that we
says
all can get the
we
guns.
all need
right.
to have guns.
And we'll just, you know.
As we said before, non-white people in America, get guns and learn how to use them.
Yeah, be proficient. I told you, just get on that.
All we need. Basic
You know,
proficiency might
Follow
be
the
enough
sights,
to
bit them into the end, you know. Take a deep breath as you let go of the trigger.
watch Enemy at the Gates. You'll get good. But no, I mean, for real, like,
Yeah.
basic proficiency might be enough to beat their massive numbers because I don't think they have it. It certainly beat the British. That's your problem. All right. Want to do your Tez talk?
Yeah, this is, this one here. Tesla, do I got any? Where's my graph?
Where's your graphic? Come on, Dick.
Look at these dead ass birds.
There you go.
There it is. There it is. All right. So the Washington Post, and actually not so much the Washington Post as well too.
It's a consortium.
It's again the International Consortium of Investigative Journalism, along with the Washington Post and 40 news organizations, the Uber files.
It's like they did with the Panama Papers
Yes.
and all of this other
Now
stuff.
we don't have the time tonight to go because I'll be here till 12.
No.
We went through the whole thing. I'm going to give a couple of first some breakdowns of like sections.
Should
you can
I have
pick
not
out.
used Uber all this week while I was traveling for work?
I mean,
Problem with Uber?
there's always been
it's a big problem. I mean, Uber is the
Uber.
devil.
Yeah, no.
I Ubered here.
All the
Of
raping.
course, of course you over here. 'cause-
Pillaging.
And I'm
and-
definitely Ubering back.
Yeah, right. No, it's,
and we support that. Yeah, that is.
and we're not attacking the individual drivers or
No,
any of
we
that.
love them too.
Yeah.
It's just this organization and
It's a
that
criminal
good old
enterprise.
Travis.
Yeah.
Kalanick. But all right, I'm just going to give you a couple of these breakdowns of the actual stories, right? So here's a headline here. Uber leveraged violent attacks against its drivers to pressure politicians.
That's true.
All right. Former top executive Mark McGann comes forward as source of Uber files. Hit the kill switch.
The leaker.
Uber used covert tech to thwart. I got that word right. Government raids. Thwarting
true.
Is always a word.
Thwarting, yeah.
Thwart. Uber promised South Africans better lives, but new drivers risk debt and danger.
That's true.
Right? The cost of Uber's quest for rapid growth. That's just is what it is. Uber steamrolled into France. Emmanuel Macron was a true ally.
Well, the Macron stuff is really bad.
I don't even have the time to go into that.
Really bad.
It's really bad, right? Uber
thank God this didn't come out before the election.
Or it'd been canned. Yo,
right, but I'm willing to trade this. I will trade his malfeasance with Uber to keep Le Pen out. That is.
But if that came out, that would have been easy.
But look at the situation. You realize that you and I are making a choice where we are okay with this level of debauchery.
Yes, that.
And backhanded money laundering, like this is the most corrupt shit you could possibly imagine, but it's better than a Nazi running France.
Yes, better. Yeah,
and so we're willing to trade that.
All right, here I'm giving another one. Uber wooed Russia and rich and powerful, but failed there anyway. I love that one. Uber sought strategic
in Mother Russia. Uber drive you.
Yeah, exactly right. You don't control anything over there.
That's right.
Uber sought strategic investors in foreign media to win government favor.
Oh, shocking!
All right. Let's just jump in. Again, these are separate 5,000 words.
Each individual multiple page
stories, right?
A lot of ink.
Let's just do a little bit about Europe and Paris, right? So the big takeaway I had from this is that Uber in Paris was fine with violence between the taxi companies,
yes,
and their Uber
drivers
and their drivers.
Because to put it clearly, like in France, there's a lot of union protection and all this stuff. And so the taxi drivers are a long established, well-protected industry. They had a whole thing going on, and here come these Uber guys honing in on their territory. They weren't having it. They got the blows.
Right. So straight from the article.
And Uber was telling their drivers, no, go sign up. It's no problem. You'll be fine. And then and knowing that the taxi drivers are going to beat their ass.
Right, so here we go. In some instances, when drivers were attacked, right, Uber executives pivoted quickly to capitalize, the documents show. If a driver had been stabbed or beaten, or bricks had been thrown at his car, company officials behind the scenes provided details to the media if they thought the violence would result in negative attention for the taxi industry.
That's right.
So, right, this whole thing, right,
they're willing to sacrifice their drivers to end taxis.
And again, I'm not the biggest, right, being in D.C., growing up in D.C., I'm not the fan of the taxis. The taxis, zone system. But even then, like the taxis, right? They were a bunch of foreigners in most cases.
Yeah.
In most cases.
But they were making a life for themselves and putting their kids through college.
And putting their life, but right, they didn't pick up black people. And I found when Uber came in, right?
Wouldn't have Ethiopian restaurants without them, though. So
that's fair. Okay. That is a fair word.
I will trade corrupt taxis for yellow peas.
Both of my grandfathers were taxi cab drivers before the onset of Uber. They definitely picked up black people.
They did, yes. They did. I said the foreign black folks was the one. And again, as a foreign black person, I'm black, and they were always fine with me once I got in the car and I would let them know. They're like, and it's like, why don't these black people here work? And I'm like, hold the fuck up, baby. You don't even understand.
You know how far you could get in a cab by mentioning Kojo Nandi?
Oh my lord,
you were in.
Yeah, you're gone. But again, like I'm not the biggest fan of like again some of the taxi practices that have happened, not just in DC but around in any urban center.
We get it. But it's an imperfect system.
But I knew as soon as Uber came in, but as soon as I knew Uber came in, I was like, well, this is way too cheap. You're on something else.
Well, and it still affords them the opportunity to be racist.
Exactly. You're still able to do that. And it just shows, right, that...
And in France, no less.
Right? But it shows that they took this practice in multiple countries, right? Yeah. Of going and destabilizing the taxis. And right, to your point, right, your family members are taxi drivers. Uber comes in there and they destabilize. They kill it. They kill it all.
Quickly. I've never seen anything happen that fast.
And why can you kill it? We've talked about this on the show before, because you have these venture capitalists who go and funnel this money into that. And then what are they allowed to do? They're allowed to basically take rides that should cost.
Subsidize stuff.
Yeah, you subsidize this stuff. And a ride that should cost, let's just say it should cost on value
$25.
Let's say it should cost $7 and you charge $12 because you want to make a profit. Uber comes in and says that ride's going to cost you $4. You can get someone there in 4 minutes. And then they dupe all of these riders.
Yeah.
They dupe all these riders. I thought they
created a whole culture around this.
Yeah, I thought the South African and before I jump
Uber is a culture.
It is a culture, right? Yeah, because and even they talked about in this article about like the hashtags are like Uber everywhere, and like they're like right. And again, I don't want this to seem like it's an attack on the driver, but as an organization, here's one. Where is it? I hope I have this here. They had a kill switch, right? That they could go in and flip when regulators would come in because, again, they're skirting the laws that the taxi cabs have to follow.
They were doing it all the time.
And they have a kill switch that goes and cuts off access to the server. So when a regulator in France walks, or let's say in Paris,
all of a sudden the phones don't work.
Phones don't work. You can't get any of this information. You can't retrieve any of this information. Right. Now,
which is very incriminating.
But they say, like protecting intellectual intellectual property agreements and things of that nature,
To be fair, I took an Uber home from the airport yesterday. Mm-hmm. The guy, I noticed he had a cricket bat in the back. He was a fairly well-accomplished cricketer, by American standards or whatnot. And he taught me all about cricket on my ride home, which I knew kind of about, but it's a very confusing sport. It's kind of like baseball, but not as good.
Not as good.
And so that's, I assume, why you left Britain.
That's why, for the cricket.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Cricket.
You're like, cricket sucks. I'm going to come be an Expos fan in Washington.
There you go. All right. The South African piece of this story was really interesting.
Also a cricket playing nation.
Another cricket playing nation. Because they basically...
Sensing a conspiracy.
They didn't care even about, safety at all.
No, they were literally willing to sacrifice the lives.
Right, we know in America, Uber doesn't care about people's safety. That's
South
fine.
Africa is the Wild West.
Wild West, right? And then they introduced cash payments in an Uber. Now, if we all know,
we all remember
cash and cabs, right?
Why do folks are scared of cabs? Because of cash, and again,
cabbies got robbed all the time.
And I understand why they had fears, again, but what Uber did was introduce cash in South Africa. And
after being all digital payment, by the way.
And after duping the government to get in there by saying, hey, we're a cashless business. It's safer, right? So they duped them there. Not only here did they dupe the folks, but they recruit these drivers, right? In Cape Town, right, they said it has roughly 4 million people there. So they're subsidizing the trips. They subsidize the trips, and then they are giving the taxi cab drivers the equivalent of $400, a signing bonus.
Yeah.
So they destabilize these places by giving out money because the venture capitalists had their flush at the time, and interest rates are super low, and you can get free money out, right? So you go ahead and then you dismantle the taxi cab business,
and you leave it hollow, so they've got no other option. But
the taxi cab business here, they were going back at it. They were fighting.
Well, they tried.
The taxi cab,
the regulators, and in some cities they've been successful.
But even past the regulators, the actual taxi cabs are whooping up on the Uber folks because they're like, whoa, dude, you're fucking up our whole livelihood,
right?
And again, you would think a government would be able to you thought a government would be able to.
South Africa has government?
Well, yeah,
kinda.
Their constitution is better than ours,
sorta.
I'm going to take it. Their newly written constitution.
Yeah, they're
new,
right.
Better than ours.
Yeah. But they've been one party rule basically since independence. I mean, it's not like a real country.
But even then, again, you still see these subsidies come in. You go ahead and you hollow out the taxi cabs. And then they started saying, all right, well, we're going to raise the prices.
Of course.
But when you raise the prices, the Uber drivers are like, well, hold on, we're not even getting the same cut that we used to. And it's almost I almost think of this like the subprime loans that you had with, right? You get people who probably shouldn't be even doing this because... Right.
The biggest question is, why didn't the cities take the taxi cabs and create an app-driven program?
They did. Some cities did. DC had an app, but also
it was not good.
It wasn't very good. But
it's a government app.
I've been in cities where the apps work, and in fact, in Ireland, where we just were, Uber exists.
Because Uber is now doing that.
But it is the cabs.
They're realizing hey, we couldn't kill you. Hey, we might as well jump over.
Because that is a country that has strong regulations. It's an EU country. And they were able to fight off this Uber thing and say, you will not drive unregulated people around. We were a group of us that we could not get around easily because most of the cabs couldn't carry more than 4 people.
Right.
And so, like, setting those kind of rules was enough to hamstring this and stop it dead. And the problem here is, again, lack of regulation.
It is.
You've got governments that are wooed by or maybe clouded by this idea of...
Well, Obama's campaign manager took over for these guys and basically was going into every country and right? And again, he argues like, well, these countries don't care that. But again, when you hire someone like that who understands the lobbying aspect of this, again, they're able to skate regulation. Easy.
Right, but at some point, somebody's got to step. So for the longest time, I wouldn't take Uber because I didn't trust some rando to drive me around.
I always trust the cab.
Whereas
the
cabbies
understood.
But it's the most trustworthy thing.
Well, kind of, but the cabbies I trusted because the cabbies were carrying a license, because the cabbies had to get a medallion, because the cabbies had to do something to get it.
But the Ubers, you can be found. The cabbies, nobody can track you on the cabbies.
Okay, I'm a dude, so it's sort of less of an issue. But, like, I'm thinking about who has a driving record, okay? So I'm thinking about, like, rando guy gets the Uber and he's driving the car.
Doesn't even have to upload his ID.
Sure, but he might be driving on his buddy's license or whatever.
You go out with your girlfriends, right? And then we all Uber to one spot. But then we have to go home and we're slammed, right?
Right.
The girlfriends can see if I made it home.
They can now, but not earlier on. I'm talking about in the very early days when Uber was only contracting with guys with livery licenses and the limos and stuff.
No, the black cars, the initial ones. Yeah, the initial ones.
I fought this idea because I was not getting in a car with a stranger. Okay. I was getting in a car with a licensed taxi cab operator.
Right.
That's a different deal. It's regulated.
There was regulated.
These people had to have their cars inspected. They had to be safe.
For me, that's information for you in the immediate time, but that's not information for anybody else.
And the reason why Uber succeeded as well too, I'll say the reason why I enjoyed it is because you could put, and this is why that South African story is really huge about the cash piece, because of folks who don't have debit cards and credit cards. I liked it because I have a debit and a credit card. You already got your money. You know that connection has been made.
The whole,
and then
I understand the security of the transaction made it much better. Yes, and I get the fluidity of it, and I do use it now. I'm saying in the early days of this.
In the early days, yes.
My basic argument against this was I don't think random people who are tired from their day jobs should be driving people around.
Yeah.
I felt that when Uber X came in, I almost felt better with the black car because it felt like in the initial stages they were trying to present more of like the car services that the lobbyists would use on K Street. But the services that have always existed.
But people like your family who are licensed cabbies, that's who I trusted because those guys had licenses and I known that they had
they knew the city.
They knew the area.
That's the back of their hand.
And they knew the cars were safe.
Damn GPS.
They got inspected. They didn't rely on a GPS. And you knew if they knew who you were or they knew that you knew, they wouldn't clip a zone to just get the extra fare or whatever.
Right.
Like we could come to an agreement. Hey, take me here and this the way I want to go, and like it's all cool, and then talk about, hey, I was listening to Kojo today, boom, you're in. Like that's a whole thing.
That's true.
And then Uber came and it wrecked them. I loved White Top Cab. I rode White Top Cab everywhere I went. Now, gone.
Whether it's Yellow Cab, Barwood, Diamond, all those things have been destroyed.
Right.
Yeah, and I do think this is where I look to local governments where, like, I don't think you should try to crush out Uber necessarily.
Got to regulate it.
You have to regulate it, and I think you do have to create a competitor in each market that you should. I don't know how you
public transportation.
Well, yeah, I talk about that. Here's one last paragraph for this one I thought was really fun.
Public transit.
Here, once a year, Swart helped organize quote unquote engagement days for drivers. This is in South Africa, where Uber served hot dogs and held question and answer sessions. We would do these phony baloney sort of events to prove that we looked out for the drivers, Swart said in a recent interview, his first about the experiences at the company. Quote, we would listen to the drivers and hear their concerns, but you often felt like, yes, we hear it, but what can we really do about it?
Nothing.
And
it wasn't phony bologna, it was hot dogs.
Which could be phony bologna.
Could have been bologna.
Unless it's a Hebrew national. That's not phony bologna.
Not phony bologna.
My favorite hot dog.
Unless you're in Michigan and then go to the Coney and the hot dog is serious business.
That's a very big, We call them glizzies here. I don't know if you know.
Glizzies.
the glizzies, baby. That is it.
Apparently, people outside of DC starting to use this word.
No, because people have tried to, they've co-opted it. Yeah, right.
Once again, they're stealing our stuff.
Every time.
And the glizzy is an interesting thing because it's a weird word.
It's a weird word
that could represent three things.
The question is, are either of you glizzy gobblers?
Yeah, I enjoy a hot dog.
Not.
I enjoy a hot dog.
I've never been a big hot dog guy.
I'm a burger
Hot dog
guy.
for me is like kiddie after school food.
I like baseball a lot, so I eat a lot of hot dogs.
No, I would see that's the thing. The
And I'm
O's
very
had,
upset if I go to a restaurant and a hot dog is on the menu.
the Orioles
I had a
always
restaurant
had the burgers.
Oodles and noodles aren't on the menu. Hot dogs
Oh, wait,
on the
hold
menu.
on. No, is oodles and noodles on the same plate as the hot dog?
There's whole
It's
ramen
after
restaurants.
school food
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I'm with you as well,
It's
too.
Inspector
It's whole
Gadget.
ramen
It's a hot
restaurants.
dog, and it's oodles and noodles. And I
Animaniacs.
don't want to go and buy it anywhere because it's after school food.
The word glizzy, again, is very interesting in this area because it represents three things, which are very weird three things, which is a hot dog, a Glock, and a penis.
I'll buy a half smoke.
Well, the hot dog and the
but
penis
not
kind
a,
of makes
not
sense.
a
But the
glizzy,
glizzy
not a
is
hot
like
dog. No.
A half smoke. I mean,
doesn't
I like
get-
a half smoke.
This dick. But there's no
Half smoke is different.
slang word for half smoke. It's just a half
Please
smoke.
don't make one. Please.
No, it's just it's fine.
Yeah.
You know
Don't
why
make
I'm
one.
not? See, we got served hot dogs a lot at school for our lunch, but we used to have so we could in a week have on the menu hot dog,
Burger.
half smoke, and chili dog, all in 1 week.
That's because I know what they're doing there.
Not DC public schools.
And the chili dogs were this incredible piece of innovation. It was a hot dog that was injected with chili in the
Ew.
middle. So
what school system was this?
This was Arlington County.
Oh, see, we don't know nothing about that.
This was surplus USDA, whatever.
Injected. That's some Commonwealth shit right
That's
there.
some Commonwealth shit right there.
This stuff came in a foil pack reheated. We didn't even have
Wow.
a kitchen.
You didn't have a kitchen?
No, I did not have a kitchen in my
You
elementary
didn't have
school.
a Miss Dale?
See, I'm
We
done.
had
I'm done.
lunch ladies,
You
but we
didn't-
just had ovens where they could reheat the stuff. It came on a truck in foil packs, and they would reheat it, and they'd give you your foil pack with a bun, and that was it.
Montgomery County Public Schools.
I need a
50%
mustache.
of that tax
I
money
need
every
a
year goes to
mustache
that.
cafeteria lady with
Yes,
with
the hat, with the net.
with a net.
We
I
didn't
need a
get that till
mustache
middle
and a net.
school. So we had these injected chili dogs. In fact, I had never had a hot dog with chili on top of it until after elementary school. I was like,
See?
what do you mean you put the chili on
That's
top
why
of
I'm
the hot dog?
hesitant about
I
the
love
DMV,
hot
the
dogs
V
is
and the
good.
DMV. I'm
Oh, see,
hesitant
what-
about the V and the DMV.
Look, see, we can't look, friends. We gotta break these barriers.
We shouldn't have been the poorest. We're the richest county in the area by a lot in
Yes,
Arlington
a lot.
County, and somehow we got the USDA surplus for
Well, the money was going somewhere else.
It was no. Arlington specifically gave all their money.
You need MCPS or DCPS Friday.
We had no
pizza.
substance. We had pizza.
Everybody, you had pizza on
we
Friday.
had pizza on Friday, but it
Okay.
came in the same foil tin.
Did you?
Damn.
Oh, did you even put the paper towel on top to take the
We
grease
didn't-
off?
It came in a piece. In a,
Man, the grease was insane.
I'm telling you,
it was insane on the
It
grease.
came in a foil tin, like this. It was this big. It had a piece of tin foil on the top. You ripped it off the top, and you had pizza that the cheese was like stuck
had
to the
TV
foil
dinners.
tin. It was
Y'all
a
had
TV
TV
dinner.
dinners.
That was it.
You
It
know
was,
what y'all lunch was? A lost cause.
Yeah, it was. And it only cost $0.25.
Oh,
Good.
That's true.
hey.
We were rebelling against other lunches. Yes.
Or people who might sit next to you.
3/5 of the time. Okay. You want to do some news?
Do we have time? Yes, we have
can
5
do
more
it.
minutes.
Yeah, we can do news. All right, time for news. John Bolton casually told everybody he's playing a lot of coups.
I said that, and again, I'm not confused that John Bolton is a nasty white man who's done a lot of bad things
Tried to
around the world.
destabilize most of the
Disabled
world,
most
yes.
of the world. I
Nasty
know
white
that.
man.
He's a nasty white man. That's an oxymoron. But I didn't think that you would go on CNN and just say, well,
Casually.
casual. Well, I know
I'm
that
playing a lot of coups.
I
This
played a
wasn't
lot
even
of
close.
clues. This wasn't. It does take some brains to do it.
Yeah. Those idiots couldn't do it.
That's-
Right. All right. So just to our listeners, pin in that, because I'm sure Jake Tapper's going to run that down. He's not going to let that just
I would
go
hope because he
right
didn't go.
past
He
him.
didn't go into it there.
No, but he made a mental note.
The hell?
Cousin Jake was like, nah,
I was like, wait, he's just
thinking about
so
that.
audacious to come out there and be like, yeah, we destabilize countries.
All right. Arizona tried to make it illegal to film the police if you're within 8 feet of them. Interesting number. Governor Ducey signed the bill into law. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and it will definitely fail under a challenge of the First Amendment because, as Chief Lanier reminded everybody, filming the police is protected. And if you've got a problem with it, you shouldn't be a police.
Kavanaugh said that in an op-ed that a buffer is necessary.
It's not Brett Kavanaugh. That's State Rep John Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh.
Just
who
sponsored the legislation.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
spelled differently. He doesn't have a U.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, like, come on. Like, this is about to get destroyed.
Well, it's interesting that he thinks that the police need a buffer zone, but abortion clinics don't.
Yeah.
Right? Ain't that slick? Speaking of choices, the good folks here at DC United at MLS, we made mention of this.
We have a manager.
Yes, we've got Wayne Rooney, the pride of Liverpool, the good part of Liverpool. Merseyside, Goodison Park, Evertonian.
Looks red to me in that black and white. Shit. Looks red to me in that black and white.
I have a video of the one game that I was at where he did this shot.
Oh, that's a good. I know exactly what you're about to do.
This shot.
Great shot. Great shot. Great shot. I'm not against this.
Uh-oh.
All by himself.
Oh!
I was at the side corner on the field seeing that shot, and I was like, oh, my God.
That's when you play against subpar talent.
I've got the jersey.
Yep.
So I'll be wearing
Look
that.
how he saw it when he turned. It was like, oh,
he knew
it. Because you're playing against idiots in MLS.
Well, and it's a wide open net. I could have made that.
Who already went.
He's that far out. Why was he that far out?
Insane.
So that was one of my favorite Rooney moments. So I will be seeing him manage in August. So because I'll
let you know how he does.
Yes.
Is United going to get Mesut Ozil? No. That's
okay, so we might get Suarez. Right? There's this possibility that Messi and Suarez will come here or whatever.
Take a bite out of the division.
Yeah. Well, no. The deal. So Suarez is talking to people. He's chewing on a few options.
Messi is going to
nothing.
No,
he's chewing on a few options.
You butchered.
I know. I got yours.
He's chewing on it.
All right. So he's chewing on a few options. And one of the things that people are talking about, because Messi said that when he's done in France, he's going to go to Inter Miami.
That's where he's going.
Well, he already said he is, but he's going to be 40 by then or whatever. And Suarez is going to be 35. So the question is, like, is he going to go with him to Miami, or somehow United was on the list of, like, places that he might go? I don't want Luis Suarez at any age, but certainly not at 35.
I think you do.
I don't need a chomp on that.
No, when you're trying to get that fifth star, no. DC United's is rebuilding. Some of the things that the prior coach did, I mean, he had a good vision, but he just
build the kids.
And he let go. And that's the one thing, he let go too many good up and comers.
You guys are caring about
the Orioles all over again.
You guys are caring about the sports aspect again. I know that
MLS, I know it's money.
I know that MLS just signed a deal with Apple. I do know that they need to go ahead and make sure that people are watching those games.
They're going to come up with a way to get Suarez and Messi here, but they're not going to come to DC.
No.
So
I didn't think that.
There's more money to be made putting them in Miami.
Yeah, they should be in Miami.
Sure. So they will be.
I mean, look, first of all, Miami just swindled all the freaking taxpayers to get that freaking stadium that they're going to build on the golf course over there. Whatever. I
should build it on Mar-a-Lago.
All right. It's not close enough.
The Chip Chat plan in action. So, we've talked about over years now using the LLC to drive in the HOV.
Yes.
Well, in Texas, in Plano, Texas, no less, a woman who was, 34 weeks pregnant decided to drive in the HOV and see if anybody would pull her over, which they did.
Of course.
And they said, hey, you got to have two people in the car. She goes,
I do.
I've got two people. Roe v. Wade's overturned. Texas said this is a person. I'm driving. Well, okay. Texas amended their penal code to change it so that doing anything with the fetus was hurting a human being, but they did not amend their transportation code. to allow for this. So somehow Texas has this fight with itself about whether a baby in utero is a baby, a human, a person, which they think it is for purposes of punishing women, but they do not think it is for purposes of driving in the fast lane. So once again, we have led the way in the legal battles. And in fact, if you go back and look at our Twitter, you can find the tweet within days of the Roe decision about how women in the D.C. area were rejoicing at the opportunity to drive HOV at any time they wanted, simply by claiming that they may or may not be pregnant, and who could prove that they weren't. And basically, since Republicans said that individual ovum are somehow a person,
cells conjure together.
Cells are not even unfertilized, but potentially fertilizable cells are people.
Yep.
Therefore, every woman can drive HOV too. Maybe HOV 6. Who knows how many you got in there? Right? At any given time, there's thousands.
Count the cells.
There's thousands.
Well, here's another thing that will benefit Miss Brandy here, because LA had this similar case a couple of years ago, and pretty much the pregnant woman won.
Right.
So likelihood she'll win this case.
She'll definitely win this case.
Because based off of the language that you got, that Texas left.
The question is, are they willing to forego all the revenue that they get from ticketing people for driving in HOV in order to, further their
this
whole thing for existing?
She's
probably
gonna win, and they're going to stop pulling over women. Period.
Yeah. So
they're going to have to, right?
They will.
Perfect. You want to be the getaway driver? I'm sorry. I mean, friend, Uber?
Listen.
You can be our Uber.
I think I have an amendment that's already in the Constitution that we should be able to go ahead and challenge.
It's not
this
the
Dobbs.
14th, is it?
Well, they already told us the 14th.
We already had
they
that
said
one.
the 14th can't work. I think it's drop down one number. I
The
think
13th?
Yeah.
Right.
Neither
the baby's in prison.
neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States or any place subject to the jurisdiction.
That's right.
So I don't know. I think
the fetus hasn't been convicted of anything.
Well, my thing is, if I'm not a woman, but if you had a baby, right? It seems to me that the amount of resources that a baby takes from the woman, right, to become a child, right, that is
involuntary servitude,
right? I don't know. I think maybe in the 13th Amendment, we might.
That's one of those penumbra rights. Doesn't really exist. Unlike the gun thing where you can discover them.
Yes.
You can discover rights for guns, but not for women. Don't you know that? Didn't they tell you that? Beer can breath didn't tell? Oh, okay. No. This one's called the one drop rule. We had this rule for a long time in this country. There was a TikToker who said she applied for a job at Target, and she said she was black when it asked for race, and she got rejected. Then she changed it to mixed race, and apparently she got the job.
Wow.
Not sure how legitimate this whole story is, but it sort of speaks to this general idea that somehow the one drop rule is selectively applied.
I just wonder what happens when everybody just decides not to. They ask if you want to identify.
No.
So if everybody decides no, what happens then?
Well, or just admits that race doesn't exist and it's bullshit. But that we still need to try to undo all the damage that creating it did.
I was going to say, because I was like, you know what?
No. But don't let Tucker hear that, because Tucker's going to be like, oh, well, it's all bullshit. Right. No, we don't need not that kind of we don't need to look out for equity. Everybody's equal, right?
But I mean, what if that's the new just say no?
It might be. It's the ban the box thing, right?
Ban the box.
Ban the box for wheat.
But not just for that. Let's ban the box for asking for race, except
that
we do need that. We need
that's
that.
what I was going to say, because when you do that and you ban the box,
it defaults to white supremacy.
It's going to easily, they're not going to hire.
But does it?
Yes.
I think so.
Because they go by names, they do all this. Yes.
I think so.
I'd rather them have to do the work to try to defer.
Before we start
white.
Unless your name is Shaniqua, that's...
my name is Jamie.
Who knows?
But my first name is Nicholas. I'm going to slide underneath.
For the longest time, there was not this box to check. They were not collecting demographic data because they weren't interested in equity, and the result of that was vast discrepancies in employment. And so there's obviously something here, and until we can get to the point where we can abolish the concept of race, We have to undo the damage the concept of race has done.
And isn't just say no one of the most progressive things you can do to abolish it? I mean, if everybody stops
answering the question, yes, but taking it off the form would be bad. If that sounds a little backwards, right? But like,
sounds very backwards.
If the people make the decision not to participate, they're fuzzying up the data. Whereas if the people who use the data choose not to care about it, they will default to white supremacy. Because the system is
but only white supremacy that they think they know.
Yeah, but that's going to disadvantage people with names that aren't inherently white.
Because I guess the hope is that with that box there, that again, and I'm pretty sure our affirmative action folks are going to come attack me right now.
Neighbor Clarence.
Neighbor Clarence come attack. But the hope is that with that box is that an organization or whoever is hiring, right, will use that, right, in a sense to go ahead and give even an interview, we would hope.
You want an example of it? Right here, Montgomery County.
Oh, God, I did
this. One is called Backpage. We'll just skip that Glenn Youngkin caused 300 state employees to quit by making them come to work when you could obviously let them continue to telework. Montgomery County, the primaries are in 2 days, 3 days, something like that. Early voting is currently going on. If you look at the ballot on Montgomery County, it's on 2 pages on the machine because it couldn't fit all the names. And who is the only person on that back page? It's a black woman. Now, it's by alphabetical, but there she is, Lori Ann Sales, and she is by herself on that back page that a lot of people aren't going to click. And a number of the other candidates are like, "Hey, we noticed
you got to amend this ballot. It's too late.
They've got to fix this."
But you have
but they might not have enough time.
You have to admit, you can't have one person on the back of the ballot.
That is an example where not paying attention to the demographics and using a system that you think is unbiased by its basic definition follows the bias of the people who created the system. They didn't even intend to do it, and look at what they did. They put that black woman on the back page.
Yeah,
Christ.
Right.
That's such a,
it's so insidious.
I don't know how that's an oversight at all with any
it's
board.
Not.
I know, but Board of Elections.
It's not.
I expect more from Maryland.
But they wrote it into the rules on purpose, thinking that there was a chance at this. Who has more hyphenated names?
Yes, and that is
It's all a plan.
And that's
Jesus. All right, you hear the music? That means we've come to the end of the show.
This is the longest show we've ever done.
Thank you
Am I on the longest show?
You might be.
Sorry, look at Brian. Brian's like, I'm going to burn this whole shit down.
Jamie JTD, thank you so much for hanging out with us. You were an absolute pleasure. Thanks to our radio partners, Stitcher, Radio Rudy, the BBC, all those guys. A shout out to a real one, WCOM 103.5 in Carborough, North Carolina. I was there this week. They're a great little community, low power station. Check them out. Thanks to NOTN for keeping us on for another week. Maybe we have no idea. Thanks
Twice
to our
a week.
home on the internet, coplaymedia.com, and thanks as always to our family here at Rip Radio for making us sound as smooth as Bradley Beal's contract. All right, where can everybody get you on the social medias? JTD, go ahead. You first.
You can find me at Divisions Wear. You can also find me at ubroadcast media.
There you go. All right, Tez.
Wherever Bradley Beal's going to get traded to when he complains about his...
He's got a no-trade clause.
That's what he's going to make a beef in 2 years, and he's going to say, get me out of here, and I want to go win a championship somewhere.
Fine.
But you probably can find me, maybe sometimes, I think so, on Twitter at DZ Cortez, and you can find me on Instagram at CatchemCordy.
All right, you can find me and the show on Twitter at ChipChatRR, and can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat. You can find us, of course, every Thursday night at 9:30 here on Rip Radio Network. I'm Chip, that's Tez, that's JTD. You've been listening to Chip Chat on Rip Radio Network.
Good night, Bermuda.
Good night.